we are going to be heading out onto the water in kayaks to a haunted, abandoned farm.
Hello? Is there somebody out here?
That's loud as fuck from behind you.
Kebble. Things will happen. For life after death, yes. Are you here with us? Are you really here with us right now? Yes. Can you make that device go off if you're here with us? And it goes off. Tell me how that's not proof.
Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me, as always, is
Trevor Jensen.
And today our special guest is Brennan from Gen Z Paranormal.
With the muted mic. And now it's unmuted. Here we go.
What is up, you guys? I was like, I don't want anybody to hear me while I'm like eating during the
No,
intro.
you're good, dude. There's been many a time where we've left ourselves muted, and then we try to like talk and just like.
That's awesome.
So I know we were chit-chatting a little bit before this got started, but I'm actually super curious. Where are you located?
Maryland.
That's what he said. We figured when we seen with the locations you were putting out there.
Yeah, Central Maryland. Right
Born
by
and bred?
Haven.
A whole life?
So,
here?
oh my God, no.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh God, here we go. I was born here, but then we're military, so I was like, we went from here to North Carolina to Hawaii to back to
hell
here.
yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. How long were you in Hawaii for?
4 years. I remember
4
that.
years? Oh,
I was
that's
little,
pretty
but I
cool.
remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how do you miss something like as like that? I've never been myself, but everybody always says like it is a fucking beautiful, beautiful like oasis. Where it's like, yeah. I would assume you remember a lot of it because it's like, yeah, it's a lot different from Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, you're like sitting there on the beach, you're looking out, and you're like, are my eyes like looking at a painting right now? It's insane.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
nuts.
That's
For
so
sure.
awesome.
That's freaking awesome. So what got you started into the
Mr.
paranormal?
Youngin,
Yeah.
like being so young, it's like I can only imagine that you must have been very young when it's like, all right, shit's hitting the fan. Where are we going from here?
Yeah, so I guess it was I was little. I was in like 4th grade, and I watched The Conjuring, and like the beginning credits with all the yellow text, and it says based on the true story. I was like, you mean to tell me like this actually happened? And then from there, so like The Conjuring was really what started it, and I got into the true story of that for many years, and then I finally asked to go to the house because they opened it up for like the business and whatever.
So awesome.
Went there. It was like special because I like DM'd them, and they were like, well, we can't have anybody below the age to come in yet. And then they were like, you know what, you seem a little bit mature, we'll let you come during the day. So I came during the day, and then a month later I got in contact with Andrea Perrin, the eldest sister of the family that lived there. And then I took a break actually for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then my brother was like, yo, do you want to go to this abandoned mental hospital? And I was like, yeah. So I did. And I was like,
Right
all
up
right,
my
I got to
alley.
get back into this. I got to get back
yeah.
into this. And that was in November. So I really on like the go November, but I mean, I've always been interested.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, how do you not after it's like I love that because that's where me and Riley really got our homegrown roots too. Is like we were big into the shows, before the Conjuring movie came out and everything, and like all the investigators that were like basically the forefathers for what it feels like now for everybody that's doing it. Because it's like, what is really happening? Like, I don't know if this stuff is or isn't, and I want to experience it for myself.
Exactly. That was my mindset too, because I was like, and it's so crazy because if you listen to anybody, like you can probably pick somebody off the street and they'll have an experience to tell you.
Oh, 100%.
I agree with you.
And there's always similarities. Like everybody's story, there's elements of similarities to them. And that's what's so shocking to me, because like not everybody knows each other's stories. So how can there be this many similarities and it not be true? You know what I mean?
Yeah. How can we draw these correlations between like you came here 2 years ago and you had a very similar experience to what I had last week?
Exactly.
Is that is that coincidence?
So many times it can be, a coincidence
before it's
actually
fact.
reality. In fact, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like I
And
feel
I
like
don't
that's
even.
scientific theory though. You know what I mean? Where it's like
Yeah.
you get a baseline here and then you get craziness there. And it's like, all right, now I have my standard readouts. But when I see the anomalies, like there you go, scientific theory put into play right now.
Yep. I have a really scientific what's the right word? Theory for the reasons why like spirits exist, and it's
Mhm.
literally all right. So our minds are made up of like electricity, like everything that's going
Yeah,
on. Our
photons,
thoughts, our
neurons,
Yes,
all of
sir.
consciousness,
it.
Yes, sir.
everything is electricity, and it's physical energy. When we die, literally, the law is energy can't be created or destroyed. If your consciousness is energy, it can't be destroyed when you die. Where does it go?
Have
You
you
know
heard
what
of
I
the
mean?
21 gram theory? Or yeah, it's 21 grams. So there was a
Tell
study
me.
done where when people were expiring, and this was probably back in like the 60s or the 70s, I think, and they would put
Before
people.
that, it was a
Was
long,
it?
long
Was it?
time.
It might have been
Too,
the 50s.
too bad
even.
Creeps isn't in the chat.
Yeah.
She could.
Creepy Confidential, her podcast is amazing, but she made this information pretty available to us because of her podcast. But she was telling us that the study was that every time somebody died, that 21 grams of mass would leave their body. And they would account for all the fluids that would come out of the body, that they would put it on the scale, and they'd be like, every time they expired, 21 grams leaves the body. What is that? And exactly
Right.
what you said, you cannot create or destroy that energy once it's there.
Right.
It has to go somewhere. It has to become something.
So if a soul is energy leaving the body and electricity is firing in our brains, yes, 1,000,000%. Like I'm right there with you where it's like that is literal energy leaving somebody's body. And that would most likely to me say, hey, that's probably what a spirit is.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I think. It's just like I don't know. That's just always been my mindset though, because I always come at things from a very scientific point of view. So
Mhm.
like at first I was really skeptical of like ghosts and all that. It was like I have to see it for myself type
You
of thing.
kind of have to be though.
Yeah. I mean, you always have to rule out every possibility that there is because I have some friends who literally will just like immediately say that it's this. I'm like, well, hold on, no, it could
Everything's
be.
paranormal at
Yeah, I'm
every
like,
aspect and every time.
Yeah, no.
That's when you look like you're phony. When you're
yeah,
not like maybe you're not purposely doing it, but it's like we have to approach this from a skeptic's like standpoint 1,000,000%.
Yeah,
yeah,
we like to run by the rule of three. So like three things have to happen for it to be like conclusive paranormal evidence.
yeah. I agree with that. I recently I went to Penhurst and it was like the standard overnight investigation. It was from like 7 o'clock all the way to like 4 in the morning, I think,
Mhm.
and minimal activity. Like I could not even make a video. Well, I had people that were telling me because I was like hyping it up, and which is what I've learned not to do before you go on an
Yeah,
investigation
it's
because you
like
don't know how
high
it's gonna go.
expectations, like hopes are even higher, but like reality needs to be set at a ground level.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, motherfucker, when we didn't get like anything.
Mm,
And so I like posted about it. I was like, Penhurst, the video is canceled. There was nothing. We got nothing. And so I had some people that were like, well, why wouldn't you post it? That just shows that all your other content is fake. And I was like, first of all, no, it doesn't. Second of all, Penhurst is so popular that my video would literally just be me walking around the complex with Penhurst.
yeah.
Like no, like there's so many other videos that people can watch of that's already out there. It
Mm,
wouldn't make mine any different. Now granted, there's other paranormal videos, but like who knows if maybe something crazy would have happened and I would have
right.
been able to release it. So I just
Yeah.
didn't release it, and I got a bit flamed for that, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable because like
We have videos that we haven't released.
yeah, and like we're still like wrestling with the fact where it's like, well, we want to do like long form content when we do our investigations, but realistically, it's not conductive to what we're doing because not like how you said, not every investigation is going to be crazy, and you might
Yeah.
literally have a whole video of you walking around. But then it's like, do I scrap that completely, or do I make shorts out of this, or
Right.
do I release like just the stuff that doesn't happen but it's interesting to me because maybe somebody wants to see my personality. That's where we're still struggling to find that balance where it's like, is this gonna flop because I don't feel like this is personally what I want to put out. And it's
Yeah.
not like from like I need this to be the craziest thing every time. Like, no,
Exactly.
not even. I just don't want to put out something where it's like, this is not up to my standard.
Yeah, and so it's almost like I almost don't want it to be super 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 crazy every time because it's like
Mhm.
if it's super super crazy every time, then it almost like I'm phony, even if I'm not, or even if
Yeah.
this person's not. It looks like they are because crazy stuff's happening every time, and that's just not the reality of it.
I feel like that's
So
why
it's
Ghost
almost like
Adventures is kind of it's not as popular as it is popular, but it's not as popular in the general consensus anymore of it being like the leading thing. Because it's like they've every single episode they put out every week. It seems like they're catching a lot of stuff.
That's right.
Reality sets in though. I don't think that's actually always happening.
exactly, and especially after investigating on a regular, you learn that it's like, all right, well, they're not special, all right? We're all not. There's no such thing as an expert in the paranormal.
No, we're all
So
amateur experts.
exactly. So even like Zach Bagans, like he's not an expert, and so if stuff's not happening for me, that probably means stuff's not happening that much for him either. He's just making it look like it is.
Yeah, and like we've
It's all
heard
about the connection you have with the spirits too. If you lack the ability to make that connection with them, no matter who knows what it is that creates it, right? But
exactly.
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
we've
can't
heard
get that
so many
connection with them,
theories.
you're not going to get anything. Or maybe they are intimidated by something else that's there that we can't see too.
Or
Yeah.
like coming at it from like their standpoint too. Like they've done so many investigations that it's like I could understand that if they're feeling burnt out and it's just like their minds aren't there and not a whole lot of stuff is happening, but the producers are going above them and manipulating things. Cause like I've
Yeah.
heard accounts of that happening too. Like there's just so much in the ether right now that none of us really know what's true. But at the
Exactly.
end of the day, it's like I really believe that YouTube is the truth, that most investigators and content creators like ourselves are being genuine because like it's really
Yeah.
fucking happening. Like this stuff is
It-
really happening.
Right. And that's why I hate when others kind of when other creators on YouTube almost just kind of try to like put other creators down, because it's like, all right, well, listen, you know how this goes. You're an investigator, you're a creator yourself, all right? We all want to let's be real. We all want to get as many views as we can. We all want to That's part of content creation. But it's
Mhm.
like it's those who act like that's not what it's about. It's those who act like who act like they don't want that. I'm like, come on. That's why you're making content. You want it to be reached out to as many people as possible,
Yeah.
because you want people to see the truth. You want people to see the truth. You want people to see that there is something out there. And
Yeah,
you
at the
want
end of the day,
people,
like that's what that I feel like that's why a big reason why me and Riley definitely wanted to get into it was,
yeah,
hey, this needs to be shown.
Right,
Like this
it's-
stuff
Mhm.
is here,
And on
it's
top of that, for us personally, it's about having this show where we're bringing the paranormal community together. Like Yodo kind of made this like apparent to us last night, and we were kind of mind blown about it. But it's like pretty much all of the channels that are doing like starting to get bigger and bigger right
especially
now
with your fledgling channel too, where it's like you have gold mines in there
are coming
and they need
onto
to be
our,
seen.
are coming onto
Mhm.
our show, and we're showing like how genuine the community is and how
We're
people
all real
want to
as fuck.
present real things to real people, and like that's the whole purpose behind
Mhm.
our show. Like that was what we always wanted. It just took till now to like get
It's the
here.
networking. That's the biggest part for me, where it's like I love like seeing the instant gratification from the views is wonderful. Like I don't get me wrong, it's really nice to know that people are enjoying this. But
Yeah.
there's something to the other side of it where it's like just being able to establish these relations with everybody. That's where I'm finding it way more like just like uplifting than it would be where it's like we got 20,000 views today. Sick. Like that is awesome. That would be fucking awesome. But
Mhm.
it's like, hey, if I'm ever in the area, like I can easily get a hold of you and say, let's go investigate together. You know, like let's go explore, adventure. Like this is all I want to do.
Yeah, that's how I. So, like, for instance, when I collabed with Kaylee, the Paranormal Patch, it just started off as a collab. We were going to 2
Yeah.
locations together, but then after that, we literally built a genuine relationship, and now we're like best buds in the paranormal. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we message each other pretty much every day. We're always like sharing each other drama and everything like that.
Yeah, the tea gets spilt.
Exactly. Yeah, and at first it was just like, I don't really know you, but here we are. We're going urban exploring and investigating, but now here we are
Mhm.
still talking. Like we're going to plan trips together and all that. Same thing with like Jake and O from Spirit Stalkers. I haven't met them in person yet, but they've ever since the beginning when I started my channel, they've always been there, kind of like uplifting me, telling me they want to come and investigate and stuff. And they've
Mhm.
tried to before. So recently they tried to come down. We had a collaboration set up, but they got something really big happen. I don't know if you heard about that, like the whole Blair Witch thing that's
Mhm.
happening with
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
gunshot thing.
They had to cancel their investigation with me. And so I was kind of like, all right, well, I'd be scared too. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Yeah. No, understandably.
So, but yeah, we have something super big in the works right now, though.
Dude, isn't it seriously the best though? Being able to just like, at the end of the day, it's like I just now have more friends to do what I'm already doing, which was probably like in a very small clique already anyway. And it's like that
Mhm.
clique just grows. And granted, it doesn't have to be,
Click.
yeah, it doesn't have to be in the same state that you're in. Cause like realistically, we have like 30 people from at least 15 different states where if we wanted to go to that state right now, no questions asked, they would be super accommodating for us. And it's like, I can't
Yeah,
fathom that. Like, it's just so wonderful.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
it
freaking
is.
awesome.
and it's people like here we are. It's like us three. We're here talking live, and others are able to watch us. Like they can tell that we're genuine people. We're literally just talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we always say
Just
we're
sharing
unapologetically
experience.
ourselves.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that. And so that's what, I hate when others are putting other creators down and acting like they're better because, like I said, there's no experts. And
It's
so for you
definitely
to say, yeah,
because like I
for
understand
somebody,
where it's like coming from like a perspective of like if I see somebody else out there doing content and it's like I don't completely agree with it,
Mhm.
then yeah, I might be vocal, but at the same time, it's like I have to be completely correct because it's all perception here. Like, if somebody approaches me and says, like, I think that you might have missed this, like, this might not be what it is. Yes, then I'm not gonna, not personally at least. It's like I'm not gonna just be like, "Whoa, what the fuck, man? Like, your shit's wrong." It's like, no,
yeah,
opinions are completely valid. So that's where it's like I see all the turmoil that happens in there, and it's like I get it, I completely get it, but
yeah,
just coming from like our standpoint too, especially with it's like we're just out here trying to
Yeah.
make friends.
And like with the paranormal community too, we always have to remember that nobody's ever right.
No, none of us have the
Like
fucking answers.
nobody's an expert, nobody's right. Like, and we can't get big heads because just because you caught cool evidence doesn't mean you're a better investigator than anyone.
exactly.
It literally
You could have
doesn't.
been there at the same time and caught the same thing. That doesn't make you better than the person who caught it. You know
We
what I
had
mean?
one of our earlier lives, Great Lake Spirits speakers, right?
Yep.
They were telling us an analogy where it's like we're all looking at the same burning building, but we could all be at different sides of it, and it looks completely different, but it's the same burning building. And it's like
Yep.
that really puts things in a way better light for me at least.
Yeah, and it's okay to be, proud of evidence and whatnot, and be able to share it.
Or we flaunt ours all the time.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I love. I'm like, oh my god, I just got this. Can't wait to share it. But then there's a couple people who are like, oh well, you're faking it. And I'm like, okay, well, were you there? Like, were you there with me?
That's
Did
always
you
my
s-
biggest argument is like I literally can't put my 2 cents in because it's like I just wasn't there. Like I have to
Yeah.
be there to really like acknowledge the fact that both sides are valid until
Mhm.
one person's side is like completely in the light where it's like, okay, that really did happen exactly how he said it. And the other person
Yeah.
might be saying it differently, but it's like it's still a perception. That's
Yeah.
the hardest part about all of it.
It is. It's
Still
the
a
perception of the paranormal.
Yeah.
So what do you like to
exactly.
use on your investigations? Like equipment wise? Because we watch the videos and it's like, you got a lot of stuff to pick from, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of it from. Oh my god, I got a lot of it from my birthday,
Yeah.
and but just basic REM pod. That's my favorite. The REM pod.
It's so
The
fun.
motherfucking spirits at Forest Haven broke mine. It set off so
Really?
crazy that it broke it, changed the batteries, and won't turn back on. I have to get a new REM pod.
That's insane.
Whoa,
That just
that's
goes to
actually
show that
wild.
it's like if something is manipulating that electromagnetic field around it and it is strong enough to like hot wire that thing and like probably cross the leads where it blows the circuit board up, it's like, huh, I don't think
Yeah.
it just malfunctioned because I've
Right.
never
Like it
heard
was.
of that or seen that.
Yeah, it was just. It was like it was going off, and I asked it to stop, and it stopped, but the whole thing turned off, and I was like, all right, guess battery died. Changed battery, turned back on, nothing. Changed battery again, turned back on, nothing. And so I'm like, all right,
Huh.
now I got to get a new REM pod. But yeah, Forest Haven's crazy. But yeah, so REM pod. I use the Mel meter a lot, like the EMF meter with the REM pod built on. But
Yep.
it's so faulty. I wish I didn't waste the money on that because
It
it's so.
seems finicky sometimes for
We
It's
sure.
have
so
never had it
faulty.
go off. Never.
Really?
Not once.
Yeah, our
So
REM
I've
pod has
had it
never
go
gone off
off.
on it.
Really? So yeah, so I've had it go off, but it's like either it'll just be a beep or when it goes off, it goes crazy and then it like glitches. And it's like, all right, well, this is just it being faulty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can tell because
Interesting.
it'll repeat like a pattern on it. I don't know. It's weird.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
You like, you
really
don't want to just like write it off right away as it being paranormal. And then when it starts doing it on like a lot more frequency, it's like, oh, maybe this isn't paranormal and this is just this.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. I get really iffy when that thing goes off. I'm like, is it? Is it not? I just send it back because at first, some of the lights didn't work on it. It was bad. So then I sent it
Jank.
back. Came back. Yeah, I was like, oh my god! Like I just spent like what $250.
I was gonna say it's like $300.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
they're
sure.
very
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, and so, but yes, I do use that, and then I use Envoy. I love the Envoy, and
What is
then
the
Oh, that's
boy.
the thing that
Was
you were.
was it the coffin looking thing with the screen on it?
yeah, it's basically a digital Ouija board. It's got settings on it. It
Oh.
says yes, no, and it's got ABCs, numbers, emotions, and then it's just got like a standard like what it's reading.
Yeah.
But I use that a lot because it's really easy. You can change like the sensitivity of it of
Yeah,
how
like if
so
it's in
like
the middle of a room, it's not gonna be too sensitive where everything is
I
setting it
haven't
off.
seen those too
Yeah.
much. I'll be honest.
yeah. So I didn't see him a lot, but I was with Kaylee and she pulled out hers and I was like, oh, I kind of want to get one.
Like,
And
whoa.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got 3 different settings on it. So it's got a touch setting. So if you touch it when it's on, so did you see how it works? So it's got like a little box on it that switches
Yeah.
Mhm.
from across the screen. So it kind of gives them time to touch it.
Mhm.
And so if they touch it when it's on like yes, it'll beep and say yes. And if same other way around if it says no.
Yeah.
But it's got like 3 settings on it. It's got like the tap setting, whereas like you tap it, it'll go off and it'll tell you like the tap setting will light up and it'll say tap underneath the word. It's got an electromagnetic field setting, which goes off the most for me. I mean, that's how I'm like, all right, well, it's definitely a spirit because our phones are off. The only
Yeah.
thing that's letting off EMF is this thing, and it's going off. And I think it's got a temperature setting too, but I've never seen that go off. But yeah, it's
that's the
I
one thing
like
we've
that a
had
lot.
go off.
Yeah,
Really?
that's the one.
Yeah, on our
The-
Melrem, the one thing that has really like actually done well was the temperature sensor, like picking up the hots and colds where it's like super hard drops or hits.
Yeah, those things are so obnoxious. The temperature
Not gonna
settings,
lie.
it's like, oh my god, like, all right, well, can we turn it down? Like my friends, their channel is called the Ghost or Dope Crew, and they have one of the box REM pods, and it's got a temperature setting on it, but it doesn't go crazy. It just ticks, like it'll just go tick 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 tick.
Oh,
like,
that
that
was
is
so
so
much
much more
nicer.
soothing than
Yeah.
this high pitched screaming in my
It's
ear.
like,
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, all right, you can just tick. You know what I mean? But yes, I use that. I got to GS2, but I don't really use it a lot. It is. I've gotten things on it, but I don't know. That's kind of another thing. And I'm like, maybe shouldn't have wasted my money on that.
I'm like
And,
half in on electrical stuff where it's, you know what I mean? Like I like using REM pods, but I like using them outdoors. Like I like using the electrical stuff outdoors, and indoors it's like EVPs, like anything that like we can plausibly just be like, there's no way that anybody's running through here right now or anything like that.
Right.
'Cause, like
Yeah.
you think about it, it's like if I set this EMF down somewhere on a table, realistically, like if a power surge runs through the walls, through the like the circuit boards and all the wires in there, you might get a blip. It's super possible for that. That's why it's like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that there are a lot of real things happening in places like that, but it's like take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree. Like I said, I always rule out any possibility that it's like logical first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you like the spirit box or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I love the spirit box. So I actually don't use it as much as I wish I do. Like I want to use it more, but I just never do. I just forget about it. But
We do it a lot.
I wish I did, but the couple times that I have done it, I mean, I've done it a lot, but like in terms of everything else, like the couple times I have done it, it's good. Like I said, like they warned us about the police through the spirit box, and we almost got caught. We
that's
missed getting caught by 2
wild.
minutes.
Do you ever
Yeah.
do like the Estes method, or is it just like
Yeah.
play it over the speaker? Yeah.
That's
probably my favorite
but
way
for
to
the
do
most
it.
part, the Estes, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just it is clutch.
It
gets
is.
crazy.
It
gets
does,
crazy.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
It like
Whoever
puts you
thought
into
of
a
that is
trance.
genius.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
like I've just like recently we've been like, you know, sticking our noses more into like how frequencies and stuff like that work. And it's like the SB7, I watched this happen actually recently where it's like if you take that antenna off, like because I started doing a little bit of research after we were talking about it last night, and then how everybody was like, no, dude, take the antenna off and you'll see that it will clean it up so much. And it's like, oh, well, like let's see what it has to offer, you know. It takes away all of that like sweeping basically, and it's just the white noise almost. And then if you're catching voices coming through it, well, it has no way to take those radio signals and plop them into that device at that point.
Yeah, so exactly. I've seen people use it and they have their antennas all the way down. And I'm like, why are they doing that? But that makes sense because the higher the antenna, the more radios it's going to grab from.
Yeah, and these people that we were speaking with, and like everybody that I've now like had an affiliation with and been able to talk to, they're like, if you take the back off and you go to the circuit board and you just pop the antenna part off of it completely, never again will you have any radio interference, and whatever you catch through that will 100% most likely be paranormal.
Wow, I'm gonna have to try that then.
Yeah, that's what we were like. Oh shoot, we've been wrestling with like I'm Michael Jackson. It's like,
Right. Yes. Like, are we talking to
Literally.
Michael Jackson?
Yeah, and then it starts singing Amazing Grace, and you're like, God, like,
Yeah.
this is not a spirit.
Sometimes I'm like sitting there listening to it, and then I'll be like talking, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, I just heard "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift, like, like just come right through. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, T Swizzy's hot right now.
Yeah. I was
we
gonna
gotta
say
get the
something.
Swifties in the chat.
Oh my
Swifties.
God.
Oh my God. My opinion, she's overrated. I'll put my hand up.
Oh gosh.
The pop culture is definitely coming for you. So if you
Okay.
had any place that you could go, you know, like just like a dream location that everything is you know, there's no holds bars, exclusive access to everything, whatever you want to bring, whoever you want to bring, like where you going?
We must have summoned Creepy
We did.
because we were just talking about you.
Yeah, the experiment with the soul and everything. Not even joking. This happens at least every live we've done in the past.
We start talking
4
about
times,
someone, they show
and
up
they
in the
show up.
chat.
See, I don't know. I think that's psychic. I always that always happens, and like when you're talking to somebody, and
Mhm.
like, or like when you're sitting there and you're humming a song in your head, and then like
And
your
then it comes on
friend
the radio.
sings it, or like it comes on the
Mhm.
radio. I'm like, that is my.
Like, did I just have a premonition, or like, is this like
Yeah.
what?
Right. It's I don't know. I personally think that every time something like that happens, it is.
You can't tell me though that like it wouldn't make this would make a ton of sense to me. That if everybody that is out here like hunting for ghosts and is having these wild experiences like we are, that's more or less like very odd compared to the general public. What if we're just like a little bit more like, I don't want to say neurodivergent, but like we have like something different about us in our genetic makeups that make us more sensitive to that stuff. So it's like if we are seeing like, you know, premonitions of things that are to come, or like we're seeing the echoes, it's like maybe it has something more to do with our chemical makeup in our bodies than it does, you know, like anything else.
I didn't think about it like that. That's crazy. I've thought about it. I've thought about it like this before. So you know, like your brain, like we were just talking about this earlier. Your brain's like filled with like neurons, electrons, like all like everything. Like it's like electricity. And it's almost like your brain's constantly sending out signals. It's all, you know, what if your brain, maybe it's 100% not paranormal. Maybe it's just your brain picking up like a radio signal that's actually there and transmitting it into you. And that's why you're like, oh, why did that song just come in my head? And then it plays because your brain almost like received the signal before it came on.
Oh, dang.
Think about it, like
crazy.
5G, like all the radio signals, the data link now that's flying around the earth all the time, that's just like constantly pumping like just radio waves. Exactly. Like you're probably spot on with like maybe something's hitting that frequency in our brains that's like a tuning fork that's just like, oh wow, like that probably was something. I can't just explain that away. And then the other theories too is like, what if like how we've advanced in technology and like power grids and how just everywhere now has been so built up with infrastructure? What if that's either juicing paranormal or it's like hurting it, where it's pushing it out of these locations?
Right.
Like, I wrestle with that a lot.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't think about that. That's valid. It's like valid though. What was I gonna say?
Yeah, because if you look
Oh.
at like the 5G cell towers, they like melt trees and kill the fauna around it.
It's insane.
It's
It's
real.
insane. It's absolutely insane. I don't know. I think I think we're gonna destroy ourselves. That's why I just think that we're
we're
gonna.
bound
You're
to.
right there on
We're
that same
bound
like
to.
track of thought that I'm on, because like you can't tell me that Anunnaki and like all these like Mesopotamian like cultures that have these depictions of these helicopters and these flying ships and these like alien like creatures in their hieroglyphs and in their cave drawings and stuff, that what if there was actually an advanced civilization that was here, but they did what we're doing and it was all about innovating technology, like let's push it to its limits, and then well the limits got to the point to where it was Armageddon and now we are starting
Atlantis.
over.
The other thing about like
Wow.
Atlantis too.
I heard a theory on
Well,
Atlantis that so like if you look at like all these like you said, like ancient stone carvings and all that, there's like all across the globe there's a couple things that are similar, but one of them is that people are seeing these discs flying from the sky, smashing into the ocean, and islands form out of them. So there's a theory on Atlantis.
Thinking about that.
There's a theory on Atlantis that, you know, we know that it was a real city. We know that it was like
100%. Yeah, there is actual factual
evidence.
evidence.
Yeah, but we can't find it. And so people say, all right, well, there's smoke, there's fire. Why can't we find it if it sank? Well, maybe it took off. And maybe it was a ship.
Oh,
that took off, like a rocket
I
ship.
was like, it could be down, it could be gone because of just,
I
like,
always thought it
erosion,
was
but,
in like some like type of submerged like cave or something like that like
yeah,
got
because Atlantis
covered,
is thin water.
like say like maybe they built Atlantis on top of a volcano on accident and it erupted and like brought the city down.
Mhm.
I don't know. I always thought it was maybe something like that.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that just opens so many
That
fucking
is even
rabbit
crazier
holes.
because what if it was an alien city and that's why it was so immaculate.
Right. And people say like there were like smoke, fire. Well, we have rocket ships and there's smoke and there's fire that comes out from underneath of it. What if it was just a ship that took off after people grew on it for long? I don't know. I heard it. I didn't think of it. It was on Ancient
I always
Aliens.
thought
So.
maybe it could be like,
God.
Yeah.
I've always thought like Antarctica was probably
It's
going to tell
where a
us
lot of the secrets
so
are.
many secrets about Earth. Like, there's got to be so
Oh.
many secrets hidden under that ice that we would never.
Or even hollow earth theory. Like, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities anymore whatsoever. I really don't.
Do you know how many like what's the right word? Preserved animals that are extinct are probably in the ice of Antarctica?
Dude, mammoths are coming back in 2024 because they
Like-
found a full woolly mammoth and they're breeding it with an elephant next year. So they're bringing back mammoths.
100%
Yeah,
confirmed
Like,
real.
like think about that for a second. Can you imagine seeing a fucking woolly mammoth?
Dude,
I would. That'd be insane.
Well,
like
the
Ice
crazy
Age
thing
for
is,
real.
they're saying that they're gonna do it because generally mammoths were really good cultivators of the earth. So like where we're like
all animals are.
yeah, where we're trying to like rebuild nature instead of destroying all of it, all they have to
gonna-
do is let them go and they will literally like till the soil and regrow because of them
It's
just
supposed to like
walking.
help the Arctic tundra or something
Mhm.
up there. I don't know exactly. I don't know if it has to do with ice caps or not, but it's something to do with the tundra.
It's just it's
Yeah.
fucking nuts.
So recently I saw this article and it was like they discovered mermaids. Now, granted, I don't think that maybe mermaids don't look what we
Merpires.
think they look like.
Merpires.
But like think about it like this, like every single legend, like everything like has a story behind it. Somebody
It's
saw
derived
something,
from something.
Sirens from the
100%
Odyssey.
something.
Mhm.
Right. And so people saw these creatures in the water that looked like people. They were sirens.
Yep.
And they created tales of them. And we've only discovered 5% of the goddamn ocean. Like, you can't tell me that.
We are stuck at a depth that it's like whatever's under it, that's too bad. We just can't get there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And people are like, okay, well, the megalodon's extinct. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, maybe that particular fossil is dead. But there's probably another megalodon. You know what I
Look
mean?
at evolution, like
yeah, a different kind of-
adaptation
a different
theory.
kind of
All of that
megalodon.
really is like is stooped in like factual evidence of things happening. So you can't tell me, especially in the Congo. Like Riley said this yesterday, they saw like a 60-foot fucking snake in the Congo. That's like a
They got a picture of
titanoboa.
it.
Yeah,
That's insane.
that's a dinosaur. That is not a boa. That is a titanoboa from straight up like Cretaceous periods.
That's insane. That's insane. The Earth, I mean, literally evolution, everything like that is insane. And like I said, like in terms of the paranormal, there's no experts, but think about we've only discovered 5% of the ocean, and ocean makes up how much of the Earth? Like 80,
75%, I think.
75%.
75,
Like
yeah, it's a
85 or
lot.
something.
How much of the Earth have we discovered then if you think about it like that?
Probably
Less than
5%
half of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably, like,
exactly.
not
Like,
even
Yeah,
that.
think about this. There are spots on this planet that
Mhm.
no man has ever set foot.
Yeah, it's untouched still.
Like no one's even came close to even stepping there, even thought of stepping in that spot.
yeah.
That's why it's
And-
like branching out of paranormal is the best too, though, because it's like
yeah.
you get every aspect of all of it.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, you can't even wrap your mind around it. And also, people like I believe in God. I'm a Christian, but I almost believe in it in a little bit of a different light. I think of
Yeah.
it as like I think about it like this. Since humans can't wrap their heads around the fact that space goes on forever and is actually
Yeah, it's
growing.
infinite. Infinite is
infinite.
crazy.
It's infinite and it's growing, which is insane. Like you can't, like it's impossible to wrap your mind around that, and it's even more impossible to wrap your mind around the fact that there was what was before that. There were
Mhm.
like you
Mhm.
can't think. You can't. What created that? So I'm like, okay, maybe it was God, right? So God like created all of this, and when He created civilizations, first of all, this is also why I believe in aliens because I don't think we're special. You zoom out
No.
on everything, we're not special at all.
Yeah,
Like, at all.
we're dust. We're literally
Yeah.
dust.
Yeah. So like all these and back in the day, like we had like kingdoms, empires, all of that. We're all fighting for the same thing, which is land. Everybody wanted to rule the world.
Mhm.
Everybody still does. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
so
Israel's a great example of like oh
Exactly.
my God, like
That's
my land,
fucking-
your land. Oh God.
yeah. So maybe God saw all of this fighting, right? And He sent down Jesus almost to kind of prove that, listen, not this religion is 100% right, not that religion is 100% right. Here's this person to kind of mitigate everything. Like he's here to prove miracles to everyone.
Mhm.
And that's almost, I think, right? Christianity was derived from Jesus. And so when that happened, I think it almost, I think that God's plan was to send down Jesus to almost kind of unite everybody,
Mhm.
but it just kind of divided everybody in the end because then everybody created all their own like
The branching
their
Davidians, and then you
cultures,
got the
everything.
Christians and the Baptists and all of it.
It's hard to make two people agree in a room. It's even
Let alone
harder
a
to make
whole
9
civilization.
billion people agree.
Yes.
See, and like
You know what
it's,
I mean?
it's
Like, that's-
crazy too because like a lot of like the new theory that's coming out that I've heard a lot recently with religion is that, well, what if we flip those two, where it's like if the universe was here first, and then whatever happened afterwards, like maybe somebody that was like atypical, like Jesus, and in that regard, he really was real, and that really did happen. But like you said, now we have all these branching like thought processes of people that are individuals thinking differently about everything. Because like Christianity is derived from the Egyptian Eye of Horus, and then
Mhm.
if you look at most other religions in a whole, they all have tons of similarities, but they're all said in different ways, just like you were saying. So it's like, I really don't think that it's out of that realm of possibility that the universe is just infinite as it always has been. It's always been here. But whatever happened afterwards, who knows? We don't really
Right.
know.
And what creation? What were we? Were we the
Yeah,
first?
what is creation?
What were we the first creation of this like intelligent life, or are we the 500th creation, or are we the 5 millionth creation?
Or
I
is
can't
there
even.
this like primordial being that is in this like religious like figurehead? Well, maybe it's not like how we all perceive it to be, but like almost like I guess you could say like simulations are like a good example where it's like there is something manipulating it to its core overall, but it's not mitigating every day-to-day like interaction that you're having. Like it's the chain started, but now the chain's completely going down its links. Like it's once you get to the end of it, you may never actually get to the end of it. Who knows? Like I don't know if we're gonna just hit the end one day and then it's just all gonna stop.
Right. I mean, it's just so crazy. Oh my gosh, I can't even wrap. If I get too much into it, it like jumbles. It messes with my brain. I just can't even.
I know.
I just can't.
I know.
It's insane to think about.
The show got off the rails there a little bit. We got off the rails a little bit. It happens. It's totally
We'll get
fine.
back on the rails and then we'll go back off the rails. Let's show this little clip that we got here though of this little girl saying "Hey" at the abandoned asylum that you did, because dude, it's clean as day.
This is crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So where was this caught at?
This was at the abandoned asylum that's next to my house. I'm not going to give out.
So
the
this
name
is
'cause
behind you, literally 10 feet away.
Like,
yes. So this is. I'm not going to give out the location online.
Yeah,
just because
don't,
it's
please
pretty,
don't.
Pretty well kept.
We don't
and
need people
clean.
showing up to your house.
And it's still on a running facility. It's just this complex is abandoned.
Oh,
Yeah,
makes sense.
So,
all right.
but yeah, it's right by my house.
Yep, there it is. Right at the
It's
beginning.
really quick.
Yeah, listen real close. Right. The crazy part with that too is you can hear you guys. Like you can hear the breathing, and then you can hear her go, huh? And it's
Yeah.
like, no, there's a voice like overlapping both of yours there. Like, what is that?
Yeah, that was so that was Kaylee. She was under Estes, and before that there was a spirit. So we were in like this hallway, and every time I go into this hallway, I get scratched. I don't know why, but every single time that I go into this hallway, I get scratched. There's just there's a guy in there who does not like me. Don't know why, he just doesn't. And I kind of got used to it.
Theory.
I think I've heard your theory before.
Yeah, the
The
electrical like like the transfer of
Yes.
energy instead of it being a scratch. Yeah, Riley coined that, and maybe he does like you, and he's just like bud.
Right. Maybe he's trying. But he told me through this Estes method, he was like, I'll hurt you or something like that. And I was like,
okay, maybe he doesn't like you.
Maybe he doesn't.
and so at first I was like, all right, maybe this is just some rando that's just kind of here to just kind of be mean and whatever. And I said, you'll hurt me. And he said, yeah, I've done it before. And I was like, are you the guy who scratches me in the hallway every time I come in here? And I swear, I put my hand up. I swear on everything. It said,
We got a Bible
yeah,
over here.
Literally, he said, yeah, and I'll do it again.
No shit, dude.
And I was like, all right, well, so
I'm gonna head out.
yeah. And
I'm gonna.
that's when the little girl came in and she said, hey. And now, granted, I didn't hear that in real time. I didn't hear it until I was reviewing the footage. And I was like, did I just hear that? After that, though, he never came through again. So I think that little girl is almost like my protector.
Yeah,
there. I think she has a crush on me, to be honest, because
yeah,
every
like
time
pushing
I go
out
there,
the other spirits. I almost wonder too if it's like if a spirit's in the proximity of its energy source, like a person per se, if more than one are fighting for that, like where you'll get like the blips of this and that, instead of it just being like, all right,
we've seen it. We've seen
one
it happen
person
before, where spirits are fighting basically to like talk
oh yeah,
to you.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that before too. And it's an Ellicott City, Maryland called Hell House. It's a demonic altar. It's one of the scariest places I've ever been. It's not even like a building; it's just an altar, and it has some of the most insane activity. But yeah, so I think so. I first had my experience with her in this like cafeteria room of the asylum, and I heard her giggle, and I was like, dude, like. And so of course
like
we went upstairs to investigate. Yeah, of course, because it came from upstairs, clear as day. And there's a stairwell behind me. In the video, it's like it just sounds like it's in the room, but in person, I was standing in front of a stairwell and I heard it behind me. And I don't know if I put this video up there, but I was walking. We were walking up the stairs. I'm kind of just videoing, scanning the room, whatever. Didn't see anything when we actually left the building. Look over the footage. We walk upstairs, and there is a full body shadow figure apparition peeking out of this doorway like this. My light hits it, and all the other shadows move. And the light hits it, it stays there, and then it kind of like peaks. Like, all right, you can't see me. I don't think I have it up there, but I swear I have to show you guys this while we're still here. Before
if you have it on your computer, we can present your screen and we can show it too.
I'm gonna airdrop it right now because
hell yeah.
It is insane. First of all, This place is huge, and it happens. This girl, I mean, I talk to her every single time I go to any of the buildings, but she doesn't follow me outside of the building. So I think she's almost just like my protector while I'm
Bound,
there.
like bound to that building.
Yeah,
in a sense.
and it's almost odd because the complex is the old men's group. It's the old men's complex. So I don't know why there's a little girl spirit there, but there is, and so I'm not going to say anything.
I mean,
My
I
friends
guess
came
like
up with a theory that it was.
I
My
would,
friends came up with a theory that it's not a little
yeah,
girl, and I'm like, all right, get back.
it's just completely trying to trick you. I guess
Yeah.
like my thing too is like I think spirits are transient, right? So
Mhm.
what if she's just like afraid to go outside? Because you're probably in there when it's dark outside, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I would think that if she's just a transient little girl that she can come and go wherever she wants as she pleases, especially if she's not just like there's no good reason for her to be there. It's like maybe
Uh-huh.
she found you when you're like as like I would think that we're beacons, like in whatever sense of the word, where it's
We're
like
probably walking around like a giant light.
yeah,
to
where
them.
it's like where like flies are attracted to like or mosquitoes and shit at night, where it's like they see that and they want to go towards it, and it's like you give off a very calming aura. Like at no point in this entire time we've been talking have I been like bad vibes, bad vibes. You know, where it's like
Right.
yeah, I could see a little girl where she's like, all right, like he seems really nice. Like maybe I can hang out here and like try to like do something because I'm probably bored.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I don't think she's so actually looking back on it now, my friend, there's this place, this hospital's huge. It
Mhm.
was the first hospital to use the cottage plan, which is multiple complexes, multiple buildings. Before that,
Yeah.
it was just Trans Allegheny, it's called the Kirkbride plan, which is just one big building. On the left, you have
Yeah,
the
and
men,
it's
on the right, you
all
have the
housed
women.
everywhere
Yeah,
in
I want to go
there.
there so bad.
Yeah. So I want to, God, dude, I want to go there so bad too. I haven't gone.
We'll make it happen.
But yeah, so this place was the first to do multiple complexes, multiple buildings. And so the original women's complex and the original men's complex are both abandoned. It's still running. It's still a running psychiatric hospital, which is crazy because it's
Yeah.
super old. But the first time I didn't hear this little girl, but I was in the women's complex with my friend, and she swore she heard a little girl laugh. I just now am actually remembering this. And she wanted to leave so bad because she heard a little girl laugh. So maybe she came from the women's complex. Maybe she was a little girl that was in the female
Oh.
side of the
Or like,
hospital, and
what
she's
if her
almost with
dad
me.
was there too? And it's like she's just like hanging
for
out
her
trying to
dad.
find her dad or anything. Like, oh
Right.
shit, dude.
That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't think about that either. Because I mean, it was the men's group. This place is crazy. I'm like, God, dude, there's cages. Each building has like porches with like cages that wrap all around them. This place is
Cages?
nuts.
So, like,
Cages. Cages.
Would they like house like criminally like
Criminally-
yeah,
oh,
like the
yeah,
criminally
definitely,
insane or
definitely.
like like just the dangerous like how do I want to say it, medically encased people. I guess encased is not the right word, but yeah. We're
No, I
going
know
with
what you mean. My so
The
before my
criminally
grandmother
insane,
passed,
dog.
I asked her a lot about the complex. So she worked at the abandoned buildings, and she said how in the basement. So she was a God, what an R&D? I don't know. She did the medicines,
Yeah,
and
like
so she
whatever they
only
do with the
dealt.
nursing stuff.
Yeah, she only dealt with like what up, Blood Moon? She only dealt with like giving patients meds.
Yeah, where
But
it's like,
she
here's your
said,
pill, sir.
yeah, she said there was nurses that would come in and immediately go straight down to the basement. Now she was not allowed to go to the basement because there were that's where they kept the criminally insane. And
Yeah.
The
so
basement where they belong.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
so she
Jesus
was
Christ.
like she was not allowed to go down there because she was only able to give out medicines and these people were dangerous. And so she said there was nurses that would just go down there, come back up, and sometimes they had like blood on their
Oh,
stuff and
God,
everything
yeah.
like that because these guys were down there and they were cutting themselves, whatever they
Oh,
could to
my
just
Lanta.
not be there anymore. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
it's brutal.
I've gone down to these basements and it's dirt floors. It's cells, literally cells with barred windows. I mean, it's a jail. And
Probably the same as it was when the inmates were in there.
yeah,
Probably
it,
pretty
yeah,
close to the
exactly.
same
Yeah.
conditions.
hmm There's actually tally marks on one wall. Now I don't know if it's from vandals or if it's just, but they're scratched into the brick. It's
Yeah,
tally
that
marks.
tells me you probably spent a little bit of time in there.
Yeah.
However many
So I was
tallies
like, dude,
there.
there's tally. Yeah, I was like, dude, there's tally marks. And he was like, are you sure that's not vandals? And I was like, could be, but
Touche.
whoever knows, who knows? So, but yeah, like there's cages, like there's an entire back porch. There's a building with the whole back is like a semicircle, and the entire back porch is just caged in. It's insane.
Wild.
Like, yeah, my grandmother said that the first day she was there, she was sitting there with her like trainer or whatever, and this dude hopped, like he literally, it was like a monkey, like he like hopped up onto the cage and just started banging his head up against the wrought iron bars on there.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I feel
she
like
said
that
was
is
her.
not a job I'm cut out for.
Terrifying.
Oh no, she was terrified, and she had to close that place. Like she had to turn off all the lights. She had to put them to bed, and it
Oh,
was while
man.
it was, you know, you hear the horror stories of the overcrowdings in asylums. So like she was dealing with, it was her and one of the nurses was dealing with like 400 men that were
Do you know if
insane.
they did like shock therapy or like lobotomized people there, anything like that?
There, I'm pretty sure there was like 2 or 3 lobotomies that happened there, but
Yeah.
like I don't, my God, Trans Allegheny is like lobotomy central.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Eloise was pretty bad about it too.
Really?
Yeah, and they did shock
Eloise-
therapy a lot
Eloise
more
really
there.
liked
The shock therapy is insane.
Now, I will say there was a building there. I don't know for sure if it was shock therapy or not, but there was a room, and it's still got like the locks and everything, and it's got this like, it looks like there was like a base that had like a chair that was like
Yeah.
literally built into the floor, like the base of it is still there, and there's like a switch right next to it. That's like it's like a twisty switch. I'm like, maybe that was shock therapy, but who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
because
can't say
there's
for
many
sure.
forms of it for sure. Because they did the baths at Eloise, and like there are forms of it where you put on like pretty much a helmet and you put like wet pads around your head, and then you just turn it on.
And they do like the like cold water therapy and hot water therapy. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they boiled people to death at Eloise.
Yeah, Eloise, like
Oh.
2 people died from. I'm pretty sure one of them was like they
Blood Moon-
basically boiled him.
Blood Moon's probably gonna have really good history on that.
Yeah,
on
his video comes out on
tomorrow.
the 13th, which is literally tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot. I saw he was promoting it. I'm excited to watch that
Yeah,
actually.
the trailer, A1. It
looks
makes me
good.
feel like I'm throwing poop at a wall when I'm making my videos.
Dude, Blood
Shout
Moon
out
is so good. I love their videos. They're so like cinematic and everything. I just
Dude,
love it.
that's why it's like this
Zach's the
community is
best.
fucking great, because like we got to talk to very early on when we were doing these, we got to talk to Zach, and it's like not only do we get to meet him, like and like get to talk to him and like his girl and like their crew, and then like it just kept snowballing, and now it's like every single person that we've talked to, we've been able to derive something out of that, and like any little bit of information, especially where it's like
Yeah.
watching their videos, it's like I like that editing style a lot. I think we should adopt some of these, or like these investigations they're doing are so well done. Like maybe we should try to like use some of these questions or like try to like reword certain things that we're doing. And it's like there's so much information out there to be had, and
Oh yeah.
it's fucking fire.
Right?
I mean, like your stuff in general too. We're like,
Yeah, let's take
it's
a look
so
at this.
new, and it's like I'm just now getting to like I say this every week, where it's like I don't get enough time to dive into everybody's videos right away, but like just
Yeah.
getting to like nuggets here and there, it's like, dude, you already have the formula down. Like you're gonna go far, kid. Like Jesus.
Well, thank you. Oh, this is the
Talk
best
us-
Z
talk us
apparition.
through this. The shadow.
Dude, this
figure.
this is fucking crazy. We were talking about this earlier, where it's like these shadows, none of these match up because you can see your guys' shadows. Like which
Oh yeah. This is one of the most compelling pieces of evidence that I've ever gotten. It's insane.
Look in the window. Dude, it does look like a full body, like blub sitting there with
Yeah.
a bun. And like to me, when you first see it, live streams, I love it. It's like it almost like you can tell that there's like a shift in the way the angle of the collarbones and the shoulders are. Because at first it looks more like it's it's dead onto the wall, and then when it's like you pan just that little bit, it's almost like it's fully like shit, like a different facing way now.
Oh yeah. If you watch the full video, I like slowed it down, and you can like literally see her entire torso go like this, and her head turn, like the angle of the bun changes. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah,
and
and
I'm
like
like I said,
you did
I'm
a
like
great
standing
job
there
of pointing
watching.
out your guys' shadows too, because that was the first thing that I noticed when we watched it. Was I was like, I don't know what I'm looking for yet, and then I was like, I can see your guys' shadows over the door frame itself, and it's you can tell that it's very well lit. And then
Mhm.
when you look in the window, it's like, wait,
It doesn't look like
that's
there should
like,
be
and
a
like
shadow
size
there.
wise,
You know
that
what I mean?
proportion's way off.
Oh
Way
yeah,
off.
and Kaylee, she had her live stream, and I told her to come over and look, and she pointed her flashlight at the windows, and so if that was her, if it was a reflection of her, you would have seen her light come in front of the shadow as she was turning, but it's nothing. And I'm like I said, I'm like standing there watching it on my phone, and I'm looking up and I'm seeing it, and I'm like, is this real right
Is
now?
this it?
Right. And I'm like, there better not be a person in there because that building was untouched. There was not a single piece of graffiti in there at all. I
That's
mean,
pretty
it's
cool.
like it was so cool. And there was like wheelchairs in there. It was pretty cool. But I know that there was nobody in there. And on top of that, the entire night we were hearing bangs and thuds. That happens a lot at this asylum. I mean, like, can you bang on something and they'll slam a door upstairs and they're hollow metal doors, like you can tell it's a door.
Oh, 100%.
And yeah, so that was that shadow figure. Oh my god, I will never forget when and Kaylee, she doesn't scare easily, but when she saw that, she was like, okay, like
So like, how do I respond now? Because like I always
right.
think it's like it's fight or flight, right? But no, there's a third one in there, and that's freeze. Where
Oh yeah.
I freeze up a lot. Where it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
And in the video, you can see me. I like turn and I see it in the camera, and I'm like, wait a minute, I just saw something, and I turn back, do a double take, and I'm like, and that's when I freeze. I'm like, okay, like what am I looking at right now? Is it
Dude,
gonna
yeah,
leave? Is it gonna walk away?
I'm a freezer. If anything happens, I just what
Oh yeah.
what
I'm
was
like,
that?
what do I do
Is
now?
that really happening right now? No, it's not. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
I
and
think it is.
especially where it's like these locations where like that type of evidence is very like realistic to catch because like I definitely think like asylums like that for sure house a shit ton of energy, whether it's residual or it's people that are just like, I was here once, I want to see what it's like now. And granted, we don't know what state they transfer over into in the afterlife. Maybe they're
Yeah.
still completely conscious of who they were before, maybe they're not. Who knows? But it would make a lot of sense to me that if people were there and they lived a very large portion of their life, you're 100% going to hear echoes of that at some point. And like, you just told us a story about homie. What?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
he hopped up there. I mean, it's like, oh my god. Can you imagine seeing that on your first day on the job? Just like that's your introduction.
Traumatizing. So
Oh
I don't
god.
know
traumatizing.
if
She
I'll
worked
be
there
back
for
that
5
day
more
too.
years. She worked there for
Wow.
She's a
5 more
true.
years.
Hey, shout out your Grams,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh.
Bravo.
Oh
Shout
yeah.
out all the
She got
first responders.
Oh yeah. I couldn't do
she
it.
got
First responders, nurses, doctors, all those people.
oh
I don't know
yeah.
how.
They're insane. She got she was pregnant with my uncle and she was putting this
Mhm.
guy to sleep. And he just looked at her, sat up and punched her in the face, broke her nose. She fell on her stomach while she's pregnant.
Oh.
He was fine, but she was so scared that when she gave birth, he was like gonna be like autistic
Yeah,
or
have
something
some
like
type
that.
of like problem because of that event where it's like,
Yeah,
no, like he didn't get a free, like he should have got a good ride, man. Like that sucks.
yeah, but yeah, he was fine. But still, so that happened multiple times to her. This guy kept hitting her,
Damn.
and one time the last time she said she had enough of it. He like came up. She could see he was about to swing on her, so she like grabbed his wrist, grabbed him by the back of his neck here, and just walked him to the bathroom and shut him in the bathroom and locked him in there. He slept there that night. Like she was like, I'm done with your bullshit.
What a
Yeah.
badass.
Well,
What a
I know.
legit badass.
She was like, I let it slide multiple times because the first time it happened, he punched her. She got up. This was like when she broke her nose. She just ran. He chased her, and she had to hide out in like this little tiny office. And he was
That's
just standing there.
terrifying.
And there probably wasn't
Like
a whole lot
the
of
whole
staff
night.
because this was back in the day. So it's probably
Yeah.
her and maybe one
Yeah.
person.
And she had to wait for
Probably.
security to come. She had to wait for security to come for like an hour. He said
Wow.
she said he was literally just staring at her through the glass. Just staring
That's
at
when
her.
it's the scariest too, is because like like this is no dig on anybody that has any type of special needs or anything whatsoever, but like
Yeah.
when you have some type of like chemical imbalance and like you are prone to aggression, that's when it is really scary.
Yeah.
So it's
And it's
like,
not like you
wow.
said, like you said, it's not anything against them. It's just like it's scary because they don't know. Maybe they have no control over what they're doing for the most
Exactly.
part.
They probably think that what they're doing is like is just an everyday thing and it's
Yeah.
fine. Which that's a scary thing when you're like adding all that like energy into one and then you go investigate this too after all of these events have happened where it's like I do think that in death, like if people are the way they were when they died, it is very possible that you're going to have same experience of how they were when they were like living
Most
too. And
definitely.
if they were aggressive and malevolent in some
How
any way, that's pretty sketchy.
people are who they are. You can't
Yeah.
whether
There's
you're
no
alive or
changing
dead.
that, yeah.
There's no way you can
Yeah,
change that.
everybody has their mannerisms and habits, and it's very hard to break those. And I don't think the
Right.
afterlife does.
And that goes back to the whole the whole energy is consciousness thing. Since it can't be destroyed, your consciousness literally leaves your body,
Mhm.
and that consciousness is floating around. That's just energy. That is your personality floating around. You know what I mean? I have a theory on residual energy, and it's that when I was at Gettysburg, our tour guide mentioned this to us. I never thought about it like this. He was talking about this guy who thought his old house was haunted, and so he went to investigate his old house, and he heard a kid crying, and he had lived there his whole life, and he heard a kid crying, and it took him a second, but his dad was abusive to him, and it took him a second to realize, but he was hearing himself cry. He was hearing his
Oh my
residual
God.
energy.
Holy
He
shit.
was hearing
Oh
his
my God.
residual energy crying about his dad
Dude.
abusing him. So like you don't even have to be dead to hear your own residual energy from something that happened in the past.
Holy shit, dude. Because
That
I
actually just
literally
gave me
have so
chills,
many
bro.
theories that correlate so well to that. God damn it, you're smart. Like,
Like, isn't
Literally
that
gave
insane?
me fucking
because when the first time
chills.
after my
Literally,
mom
hair
passed
is- look
away,
at- bro, my
yeah,
hair
dude,
is
I felt
standing
this exact
up.
same like just like crazy like chill wash over me when you said that. Where it's like when we first did the podcast after my mom died, I was like I hadn't talked about it for like the first 5 episodes, and then
He
finally when I
definitely
did,
never talked about it publicly.
yeah, it was still very very like fresh wounds type thing. But it's like I got
Mhm.
20 plus beautiful years with my mom. Like I can't take anything away from that. It was great.
Yeah.
But when I opened up about it on here on the podcast after we had done a couple investigations and we were talking about the paranormal, I brought up the fact that my mom had passed and that, like I think that, she's still around and she watches over me. And we had the only audio like interference that we have ever had using any of our boards or whatsoever, however we recorded. And it was like as soon as I was talking about it, as soon as I said something about my mom, it was just like
I want to say it was maybe even the first. It's like 1 through
it's
5.
it's very early on in the podcast, but it's like I was putting that energy out there. Like it was raw emotions just pouring out of me. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, what if like when that energy is like being projected in the way it was, yeah, it affects everything around you. So it's like it goes both ways in life and death, where it's like, holy shit, dude, like it puts all that like stock into, oh, maybe I have a guardian angel too. Maybe you
Mhm.
literally have somebody looking out for you and that is manipulating things around you that you just don't know is really happening. And it's not like it's a religious thing or it's like a, hey, I got you, homie.
That kind of connects to like how before we went on stream, I was telling you that I think like spirits know that we're coming to the location before you even start going there.
We're
They
all
just
Yeah.
tied in the same energies. Have to be.
Right.
Your
And you're
energy is-
talking about it and you're releasing that energy into the universe. And just like radio signals, they're able to pick that up. Right.
Well, and it's like
So
bright people attract bright people too. You know what I mean? Where it's like if I walk into a room and somebody gives me a weird vibe, I can immediately like see that, feel that, and like like either decide how I'm gonna approach that or how I'm gonna like get away from that. And it's
yeah.
I feel like
Vibe
that's
ninja.
the exact same thing too, where it's like you can walk into a room and either be oppressed by a spirit or like you can feel like charged or uplifted, and it's like, well, now all of
Yeah.
these theories really like the yarn's really spinning.
Oh, it definitely is.
And they all like everything links like to like also like with residual energy. You can walk into somebody's house after they've been arguing, and you can feel the tension from the argument,
Oh,
and they're not even arguing anymore.
100%. Yes.
And you're like,
We've
what
talked
is?
about this before. Like you're sitting at a restaurant
fell
and
out of a chair when we talked about this.
yeah, and a table starts having an argument, the whole energy of the restaurant shifts. Or like say
Shifts.
like someone starts yelling at like a manager or a cook in the back, like everything changes. Everyone stops.
The
Everyone's
social
looking.
experiments where people like come around a corner and then just start running and yelling, and everybody else on the street that didn't see where it came from just starts running too. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, dude, that stuff is real. Like it's all it's psychosis almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of adding on to your guardian angel thing. So the same asylum that I get, you know, we've been talking about the whole time.
Mm.
It's pretty patrolled. Like it's pretty well locked down, which is why it's untouched.
Yeah.
I have friends that go there and they are like, dude, we got caught, you know, we got
Yeah, and
trespassed,
it's
all
like
this
my
stuff.
track record's clean, dog.
I'm like, I've gone there 50 plus times, never once got caught. Yeah, I have a ton of asbestos in my lungs, but who cares, you know?
Yeah.
But so yeah, and I think it's to be honest, I think she's manipulating the world around this place, making sure because I'm not there for the wrong reasons. I'm not destroying things. I'm not vandalizing. I'm not
Exactly.
doing
Yeah,
anything.
it's all respectfully.
Yeah, you know, and so I
probably
think
why we've
it's
never had
her-
issues too.
Yeah, as long as you're there for the right reasons, as long as you're putting out things, I think it'll all come back to you. If that makes sense. So like, if you're putting
Does,
out good
totally,
things
I
for the
believe in
spirits,
that.
they'll protect you. And make
I ask
sure you
for hugs every investigation we go on now. Where I'm like, yo, just
Yeah.
give me a hug. Like,
Give
let's
me a
just hug
hug,
it out
man.
real quick.
We just like we feel like the more inviting you are to the spirit, like the more
Well, it's
accepting they're gonna.
humanizing.
Yeah, like making them feel
Yeah.
like a human, not like a fucking circus trick.
Yeah, like
Right.
make the flashlight go off now.
Do a jump for me. Go through that
Clap
hoop.
your hands.
Yeah, people are always like, well, if you're here, can you make that? I'm like, it's not a dog. Like, stop talking
That's
about
how
it.
we
It's a dog.
started too. Was like, if anybody's here with us, and it's like, I like it. It's fine if that's your style. Go with it. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But it feels so much more like organic when you just go, hey, my name's Trevor. Like, can you tell me what your name is? Like, I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And think about
That
it.
feels a lot more proper.
We always tell them that like we want to tell your story. We want to know
Yeah.
your story. Tell us everything about you. It doesn't matter how convoluted it is. Like just tell us whatever you can get out. Like we'll piece the story together at the
Mhm.
end.
Yeah. I always let them know too, because some spirits die some people die so quickly they don't even know they're dead.
Yeah.
And so I let them know, I'm like, I can't see you, feel you, or hear you. So like, I'm putting out all these devices, not because I think you're an animal, but I can't, this is how I communicate with you. And I want to talk to you. And like you said, I want to get your story out. I want to tell the truth about you. And I also think about it like this, like if somebody walked into my house and just was like, hey, if there's anybody here, can you touch this light? I'm going to be like, the fuck is that guy? Like, why, you know, like, I'm not
I
going to
feel like somebody walked in and showed me their butthole.
Right. Like, is that
What are you
like, is that
doing?
yeah, like, is that a bomb that you're putting down? Like, what are you doing? You know, like,
Right, and
so
that too, like these spirits don't know what these things are. They've never seen anything like it. Like there are spirits that they know what's happening when you come to that because they're used to investigators. They're used to people coming and talking to them. A lot of places we do, they've never seen a device. They don't know how to
Yeah, it's
communicate. with you.
ancient to
And you
them.
almost have to teach them how
Yeah.
to do it because they're like,
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. Is it gonna hurt me? Like,
Yeah, and like Riley,
yeah.
he's the more grounded in the investigation because like I'll walk in there and I'll be like, I'm just talking to homies right now. Like, what's up, guys? Like, you want to talk to me? And Riley will be
Mhm.
like, do you know you're dead? And it's like, hey,
Right.
that's a super valid question actually, because if they don't, then it's like now we're speaking to somebody who realistically thinks they're in physical form right now and they're standing next to us.
Yeah. And another thing is, I've thought about this. Whenever you hear a spirit say like, I'm scared or something like that, they might not mean that something bad happened to them. It might not mean that they're like scared of something happening around them, but they're on their own plane. If we
Mhm.
can't see them, they probably can't see us. And so if they're hearing us talking and they're like, what is that? We're the ghosts to them. And maybe they're scared of ghosts.
good one.
You know?
Yep.
So maybe they hear us and they're like, okay, well, what is that? What
Like,
is
the
this voice coming
hell?
Yeah,
down?
that fits
Mhm.
in with his whole like echoes of the past thing. It's like almost
Yeah.
like our timelines like loop each other, and they're
Dude,
just like,
if time
"Whoa,
is what I
was that?"
think it is, it's a construct anyway. But like
Oh, yeah.
everywhere, all at once, all the time. That's probably
Yeah.
the best thought of what time is and what like like where how we're getting that like bleed over where we're hearing cannons at Gettysburg, like in battle cries on on
I've
like
heard
any
that.
any war field or whatever, where it's like
Right.
you're hearing those echoes. Well, what if it's just like that's time, just like the slippage of time where it's like that's actually happening right now, but
fits into
now
what
too.
he said earlier about the guy hearing his own cries when he was a
Yeah,
child.
dude, that adds so much validity to me, like where it's like that really
That
rings true.
time really can slip, and we can capture
Right.
it.
And what if I can say so many
This is
what
so
ifs,
fun.
but what if like we're all in a loop, right? And every
Mhm.
time that something weird happens, it breaks the loop, if that makes sense. So this
Yeah.
kind of I thought about this when I saw Insidious, the last Insidious movie.
Mhm.
Okay.
This
Yep.
in the first movie, this kid, right? He's climbing up on a ladder, he falls, and he sees like this door open, and he's like,
Yep.
there's nobody there opening it. But in the last movie, there's a storyline to it, and they're going into like the further, and they have to go through this door to get to where they need to go. The door
Mhm.
opens, and that kid saw the door open in the past, but in the future.
Yeah, at the
Yep.
same
If that
time.
makes it's
Yeah.
like you almost break like every time, and so like places like The Conjuring house, they're almost like portals. Like that's where it all kind of crosses and like an
It's like us
intersection
bleeding into
almost.
the fifth dimension.
Exactly. And so there's a story that in the books called House of Darkness, House of Light, which is the true story of The Conjuring. It's written by Andrea Perrin,
Mhm.
the oldest daughter that lived there. And so her mother went downstairs one time to like put a log on the fire or something, and she turned around because she heard laughter behind her. And there was a whole family eating dinner in their dining room on a table that wasn't theirs. There was oil lamps surrounding the like that's how they lit their place. There was a
Mhm.
mother cooking stew over a fireplace that had been sealed shut for over 200 years. There was kids running around, and she's looking at them like, "Oh my god, like what the
That's
fuck?"
not my
And
family.
right. And she said there's two guys sitting at the table, and one of them looks over at her, looks up at her like wide eyes, nudges
You're
the
like
guy
scared
beside
almost.
her, and he points her out, and she was the ghost. So it was like she was looking into the
Mhm.
past while they were gazing into the future. And so they had that paranormal experience 300
Dude.
years ago, but it just now happened for her.
Dude, that's why I
Yes.
love this quote where it's like you gaze into the abyss
That's
and the abyss gazes
I love
back
that.
into you. Where it's
Yeah,
like
it's
that's
just
100% like yes. Whoa. That probably
yeah.
is, if that's what paranormal is, that's freaky as fuck. Because like
Mhm.
if we're just seeing these blips of like really like people that are like organically living that in that moment on that exact like where you are at that time now, and that's happening back then, and we're literally seeing each other. Yeah. Whoa. Like that adds so
Well,
much validity to like either we're hearing the echoes and that's why we're hearing the echoes, and to why we're getting intelligent responses because people are like, is this really happening? Is
Yeah.
this
yeah.
really happening?
Like honestly, in our video that comes out next week, let's give like a little backstory
It's
to
pretty fucking
like
close to
what
that.
goes on, because it kind of plays into this conversation. So while we were out in the woods, the reason we picked the title that we did, that we got followed, is because we encountered this spirit named Ludwig, and from our original encounter all the way to the end, we realized that he was actually following us, and we captured disembodied footsteps of something running up on us, and I believe it was him trying to protect us from something darker that actually ended up showing up.
That may or may not have been like a organic living creature in the woods, or something that may have been like paranormal itself that
Unsure.
wasn't real, but it was like, hey, there's danger out here, and like only he could like physically like do something about it, because we didn't hear what happened with our own ears until we played it back, like how you said earlier. It's like those are the best.
Yeah, it's so crazy, and it's almost scary to think about because it's like, oh my god, that
Mhm.
happened, and I didn't even know.
Oh yeah,
Like,
where it's like I was oblivious as shit. I was making jokes about owls having sex. Like, come
right.
on now. Like,
And we had no idea that some dude potentially 300 or 100 years ago was walking around with us on his farm.
probably with a shotgun keeping like cougars away from his fucking farmstead. Like, not
Yeah.
even joking.
That's in
Wow.
yeah. I mean, so what are your guys' takes on demons?
That's a hot topic. I like to.
Hot
I say I
topic.
ride the fence because I don't have legitimate
somewhere
evidence
in the
to
middle,
push me,
really.
yeah, towards either side. Where it's like I've seen evidence of it. It could be real. Like there are things out there that are malevolent and very dark. That it's either a very dark person or it could be something that's less human, but it still might not be a demon. Or you see some of the religious sides of things where it's like people are like, no, I was affiliated with the church and I was a part of some exorcisms and I couldn't explain some of the things that was happening. Then you're
Okay.
like, ooh, what is that though? That's
Right.
why it's like, I'm gonna ride that really, really, really thin tightrope where it's like if somebody can sway me to either side of that, I'll follow that.
It's been ever changing ever since we've done this.
yeah,
And we've
it's
heard people's
so
stories of
hard.
encounters where they think they encountered something demonic, and it's like, damn, okay.
It
Well,
shook
that
it to me.
is kind of really fucking scary that you lived through that, and I believe you.
And we haven't had anything
And I've
that
never
sketchy.
experienced anything demonic in nature, in my opinion.
Maybe
So
unexplainable scary.
it's hard for me
but-
to say that, like, yes, demons are real. No, they're not, because I've now personally had people tell
Mhm.
us stories that they encountered a demon. So now I'm like, and I believe them. So it's like, do I
Yeah,
believe in demons?
I'm not taking any credibility from anybody that says like a demon is real, not whatsoever. Because like realistically, I don't fucking know.
Right.
That's it. I just don't know.
Yeah. There's only been one thing that I have encountered that I could say was potentially something demonic, for lack of a better word. I don't know what it was.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
only
Like
word that
what
I can
can we
staple on it
classify it?
is demonic.
think
You know what I
It's
mean?
been the moniker for like a couple centuries. How it feels, where it's like it's almost just like it's been so coexisting in every aspect of the paranormal, where it's like it's been there since the beginning. I legitimately think you're right. I think it's just a lack of a better way of like classifying it at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I was at this there's a place in Maryland, it's called Hell House. And it's just
Yep.
there was an
Heard
old
of it.
it was an have you heard of it?
Yep.
Yeah. It was like an old college called St. Mary's. It was abandoned, then it got burned down, then the remains of it got torn down. So now that's all that's left of it is this altar. And that's what Hell House is. And it's up on this hill in this old town. And I go up there. I was really skeptical. It's just this
You're like, I'm
little
just in
tiny.
like a couple walls around me. Like there's not even a building here. What's gonna happen?
Exactly. It's not. Yeah, it's like it's 4 pillars on a slab of stone. I will say the walk up there is pretty weird because you're walking up 3 flights of like 60-foot stairs that
Oh,
are
that's
like
wild.
grown
Interesting.
over, and it's crazy. And so we're up there, and it just gets really weird really quick. At first, it's like, all right, here we are. We're kind of doing our
Like the
thing. I
mood
was really
changed and
skeptical.
everything.
Yeah, I was really skeptical because it's just like this altar, and that's about it. And before this, I had never really encountered anything that was that actually scared me.
Yeah.
So we're up there, and there was like 5 or 6 of us, and my one friend's under Estes, and she's in the woods, kind of turned away from us, talking so that she can't hear us, but she's like yelling so that we can hear her.
Mhm.
And she kept saying, and I never investigated with her before. I didn't know if she was faking it. She kept saying all of our names and telling us to run. So I was like, is she just
Like,
being,
don't fuck with me.
yeah, is she just being a stupid teenage girl? You know what I mean? And so I didn't think it, but everybody else is like, oh my God, they're telling us to run. I'm like, no, it's
It's like, chill out, bro.
yeah.
Like,
I'm
give it
like,
a
let's
minute.
give it some time. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go under Estes. Let's see if this is true.
Oh shit.
I go under, and it's just kind of like blank little words. I heard a couple Michael Jackson songs. I was getting a little.
Oh yeah.
I was like, here we go. And but then I heard my name. It was clear as day, Brennan. And I was like,
Whoa.
okay.
Stop
And
it.
I just said, all right. It said my name, and then I heard everybody else's names, like boom,
No
boom, boom, boom,
shit.
boom,
Really?
and I was like, and then
You're like,
it
this
did
is not
say.
radio.
It did say run. It was like, get out, run. You're going to get hurt. And then in between these there was almost like a voice. It was one voice that kept coming in, trying to interfere almost.
Mhm.
And it was this dark, guttural, like snarly voice that just kept, it wasn't saying it, it was just growling. And I was like, I think it was whoever was telling us to get out was there to protect us from this
Right.
thing. And I heard a loud, like growl, roar, whatever through the SS method. I'm like, oh my God, I just heard a roar. And then they started tapping me. They said, dude, we just heard a roar right after you did. They weren't under, they heard it around them. And so I took it out. And now I have a theory that kind of matching up with the fact that, you know, our brains can receive radio signals before we physically hear them.
Mm.
I heard this through the radio and they heard it after. It took a second to translate to the physical world. And so they were like, we got to go. So I'm like, they're like, it's a bear. It's a bear. I'm like, oh no, it's not a bear. I heard it first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we're like, so we left anyway. We're like running down the hill. And I kid you not, we're running. We didn't hear a tree fall. We didn't hear anything, but we're running down and there's a huge tree just in the middle of the path that we had just come up 30 minutes before.
Yeah.
Huge tree. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like this wasn't here
Like,
before.
what is happening?
What is happening? Like, so we have to go around the tree. It was just bad. So then we were like, all right, we're going to go back up there tomorrow. So we go back up during the day. And it was just me and one of the others. And we kind of, you know, let our minds go all over the place the night before. We were like, what if this thing is like held a grip on the town? Because that town has had some of the worst bad luck ever. I mean, it's Ellicott City. It's had 18 floods, bad floods.
Shit.
It's had multiple train derailments. Multiple people have been hit by the train. There's a legend in the tunnel called the Blink Man. That's also crazy. There's just like so much death. Like the ruins of St. Mary's College. There was a guy there. There was a priest, and this is like factual. He raped and murdered 5 nuns and used their bodies as in a satanic ritual at the altar. And that's where it's believed to have stemmed from the demonic side of the altar.
Something's going to create demons, and something like that is going to make them.
Yeah.
Probably.
So we think
That's
who I think stemmed it. And I think that because ever since then, it's just been bad luck, bad luck, bad luck. So we were like, what if this thing has had a grip on the town? So anyway, we're like, all right, let's not let our minds wander. Let's not jump to conclusions. We heard a growling and said our names, you know, like that's pretty much it. And we go back up, and this is pretty much the only clear EVP that I've ever gotten. We're up there, and I was with my friend's mom, and she was like, did you cause the train derailment that killed those 2 girls? And it was like, you wait for like 10 seconds. And we replay it, and she asks, and immediately you can hear clear as day that voice that I was hearing under it goes, yeah, I did. And I was like, I dropped it. I was like, oh shit, like this is for real. Like this is for real.
Like we ain't playing no more.
Yeah. And ever since then, we haven't been able to get up there without something driving us out. Like one time we were walking up and we heard gunshots. Like from up there, so we were like, "Oh, well, we can't go up there."
I don't want to do that. Going up there.
Yeah,
no.
And like the other time, DNR came up there, and it was just like nothing has been able to line us up. It almost feels like we've been like close to solving a mystery, but someone doesn't want us to solve it. I don't know,
dude. That's
I think that
pretty
shit
fucking
happens
crazy.
a lot too. Because think about it, if they committed a murder and they don't know they're dead, they don't want anyone to find out that they committed a murder or a crime or whatever it was. Like they're gonna try to do whatever they can to make, and if they know you're getting close, they're gonna make shit happen or drive the energy to make things happen to keep you away.
That's just fucking crazy though.
It is. We have had some crazy theories tonight, and I fucking love it because they've been pretty insane.
Yeah,
dude, sure. Fucking sure. How do you feel about aliens though? Like, I know you said that you think they're real, but like, do you think this disclosure stuff that we're seeing is like all accurate on the money right now?
So it's funny because I'm I'm like, okay, well, the government has lied to us about pretty much everything. So why are they telling us that aliens are real? It makes me almost believe that they're not now. Like it's like, but I do believe that they're real. I've seen UFO. I mean, I literally live. My house overlooks a farm, and I remember I have this on video too. I'm sitting in my sister's room. I'm talking to her, and all of her windows are open. Something in the sky catches my eye. I look over, and there's 3 orange dots in the sky. They're glowing, and they're just spinning like this.
Fuck.
And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And I like grab my sister's name, like McKenna. I'm like, McKenna, come on. And she's like, what? Like she thought something was wrong.
Yeah.
I like grab out my phone, I pull it out, start videoing. I have it on video. I'll upload this too because it's insane. But she saw it for a second because she was running and my dog swiped her legs out from under her because he was running too. And but I have it on video, the thing's spinning, and I said, McKenna, hurry up, let's go, hurry up. And this thing stops spinning and it goes right into the sky, just faster than the speed of light, disappears. And that is like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, like how do I explain this?
Kind of reminds me of mine a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, because at first I was like, all right, aliens are definitely real, but are they actually watching us? Are they actually
like what
do they care about us?
Seeing this? Like,
is
this government or is this alien?
I think when you have a UFO experience, they chose you to see that.
Oh, I believe that too.
You might be the only person that's seen it because they chose. And if it is a bunch of people that seen it, it's because they chose all of those people to see them.
And which is why I think that it went away when I started recording. You know what I mean? Because I was going to show it to people, and it was like, oh no, you're supposed to see this, not everybody else.
No, yeah.
Dude, I do think there's a spiritual connection between UFOs as well. I really do think that.
Who's to say that these demonic entities that we're seeing aren't actually just aliens? Because like I know it's wild to think it, but like I would put my money on that we probably are seeing animal spirits, we're probably seeing human spirits, we're probably seeing insect spirits, all the like maybe orbs are actually just bug spirits flying around. Who fucking knows?
Right. That's awesome. I haven't thought about that.
But it's
I love that.
Then you start like, branding ideas of where it's like, well, Bigfoot could be an alien himself. That's why we don't fucking see any remains. Or the fact that vampires are apex predators and they've just been non-existent, and that's why overpopulation is a thing. And then the fact that it's like, well, like these aliens though, they're probably just like, this is Tijuana to them, where it's like, yo, like they're really cool because we can sit back and watch because we're like innovators. We're always creating better things. Like that's what humans are really good at doing. But they're over there like, dude, they're fucking crazy. And then it's like, if you die, if you're just like a completely incorporeal, like spiritual blob, and you can come as you please, it's like, dude, I'm gonna go check this out now. Like I'm going down there.
I think that like cryptids, I think that those are aliens. I don't think that those are just like these spawns of the earth. I think they're aliens, 100%.
Dude,
I also think that
it makes more sense to me than them being actual creatures.
I also think
This
that like
is wild, but
I also think that like if you talk about something enough, it creates an energy. Like it's almost leaves a stain, and it almost creates this thing, even if it wasn't real before. You created it by talking about it so much. Like there's like the legend of the headless horseman. Do I think that this guy actually saw the pumpkin fly out of his face and he's you know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
Probably not, but people have talked about it so much that now they swear that there's a horse, a headless man on a horse that runs across the bridge.
With his pumpkin.
Maybe it's just because the town talked about it so much that they literally created that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you start to dive a little deeper, and you're like,
manifestation.
What was the actual reason why everybody started talking about it? Like, was there some type of like crazy event that like scared people to like just eschew that, or was it some type of like actual event where it's like they saw something that they just couldn't comprehend, and then their brains just manipulated into a way that they could explain it? Because like I have this crazier theory too, where it's like dreams and like memory suppression and psychological trauma, that stuff is very real. what if when we go on these investigations and like, you go dream about it the next day and you have a vivid dream of where you just were, and it's like you're reliving this experience, but instead of not seeing something when you walk into a room that feels charged, you see this big black entity or like a mass or like a person just like about to fuck you up basically.
Yeah.
And then it's like you wake up and you're like, okay, which memory is right now? Was the memory
Right.
of nothing there correct? Or is memory suppression and trauma response a real thing? Yes. Did I see it in real time like my dream just showed me? Because I think we unlock things in our dreams that, like probably can't while we're conscious because we have so much going on.
Definitely
Yeah.
can.
Well, we're in a way more 10 times more spiritual state when we're asleep.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
we're
We
meditating.
literally are, yeah, our brains are releasing certain chemicals that are like very close to like almost psilocybin, and like
Mhm.
the things that it does for your brain and like how your body recovers while you're sleeping, it's like it's an enigma in itself how it all works and how those mechanisms work. I wouldn't
Who's to
even
say
put it
we don't
past
go
that.
somewhere completely different
Yeah, like
spiritually
our
when we're
consciousness
sleeping?
can literally just detach itself and then it's like, all right,
Oh,
here you are.
that's
The world.
astral projection.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
astral
do believe that
projection.
100% is
I
I
real.
believe
believe
in
I
that.
believe that people.
So when I was your age, man, I was super into like lucid dreaming. It was like
Mhm.
one of my favorite
Yeah,
things to
trying to make
study,
yourself lucid
and
dream.
I actually accomplished it only like one time, and it was one of the wildest experiences I've ever had in my life, where I was completely fully out of body, looking at myself sitting in the chair I was just sitting in. And then I made myself fly out the window to the sun, because in one book I read, the guy said that that's what he did his first time. So I was like, well, if I can recreate that, it'll just make me feel like safer in the whole like
Yeah,
situation.
because now this is an endless like possibility. And
Yeah.
what more does your brain need other than like an endless possibility? Oh God, that's daunting.
That's insane. Yeah. I've tried to lucid dream. Can't do it. I want to do it though. I want to do it so
Dude,
bad.
it's almost like you have to like deprive yourself of all of your senses. And
Mhm.
it's like the only way to
I still
realistically do it is in
I
like a
still
salt
have my
bath with
keys.
blackness.
I still have my keys, and they're stashed away somewhere in my house
Oh my God.
in case I have a really crazy lucid dream. I know how to get out.
That's insane.
Yeah. That is yeah. I wish I could do that. Oh my god.
Dude, it's so
The first
unfathomable.
I know, like, can you think about the first time I ever really thought like about it is same thing like Insidious. The kid astral projects and ends up in a coma because his spirit can't find his way back to his body. And then all of a sudden these demonic entities are surrounding his body because it's empty and they want a soul, they want to live again. But I never really thought about that. Like the possibility of that happening, if we're talking about it, is
Yeah,
probably relatively high if it
I
is
would think
true.
so.
Because you're literally like your spirit has left your body, you know? So
Mhm,
who's to say? Like, and the same thing, like with like demonic possessions and things,
mhm,
maybe kind of adding to like maybe like it's not demons, maybe it's a person who has spent their entire spiritual like after they pass their entire spiritual
mhm.
journey building enough energy to inhabit somebody else's body. And maybe they didn't believe in God and they really did not like God. And so if you hold a cross up to them, if they don't believe in God, they're not going to like it. Maybe it doesn't actually hurt them, but they don't like it, which is why they almost like freak out. Um,
Yeah.
but I think back, I've also thought about this. God, why do you think we look up when we're praying? I think it's because people were seeing these things flying around the sky that they couldn't explain, so they almost attributed it to God.
Mhm.
And that's why they look up and praying, because when you look up, you're looking up at the sky, and they were looking up and seeing these things flying around. So maybe maybe they thought that was God.
See, we have a really interesting guest coming up on the podcast. I think you would probably freaking
An
love.
ancient civilization like expert.
Really? Who?
Let me pull
He's
up.
pulling it up. I don't even know all of
Okay.
our guests. I know one of them. One of them in December is going to be. His
I just
name's
don't want
Mark
to get her
Smith.
name
He's
wrong.
a photographer and he did work for National Geographic and
It's Dr. Shakora.
yeah.
She's a
Dr.
ancient,
Shakura.
yeah, she's an ancient civilization historian and a side like paranormal psychologist.
That's going to be an
Okay.
interesting conversation. Because like,
I'll have
do
to
you
look her up.
do you think that like Egypt and the pyramids are older than what we actually think they are? Because theories right now have been coming out quite recently that it's like I think the pyramids might be like hundreds of thousands of years older than we think.
I think it's I think it's definitely possible. I also saw a theory that they are literally like dug into the earth. Like I mean like not just like a little bit, like they're actual like it's almost like you know how the Washington Monument, it's like a big pillar and then like at the top it's a what's it called? A pyramid. It's
Yeah,
almost
Yeah.
like that. Like these giant, like just think about these giant Washington monuments just dug into the earth, and only the pyramids are sticking up out at the top. I don't.
Yeah.
I've heard a theory about that. I can't remember like what the context was, but it made sense. I was like, oh, shit, like maybe
It
that
does
is
make
true.
sense.
You know.
Egypt
Hold on,
looks
let me.
so different. That many, I don't even know how many years ago was that? Like
long
100,000 years?
a long
I
time.
don't even
Well,
know.
there's a whole
long time.
civilization in South America where it's like Chichen Itza basically, where like you can see the top half of it, but they did seismographs and looked in the earth, and it's like 3
Yeah.
miles down of just
was
like
like
complete built out landscape.
1964 or something like that is when they discovered Chichen Itza.
Yeah, and it's like that stuff is relatively new to us still, but like there's so much more out there than we really know. And it's like there's probably a lot of secrets hidden underneath like the ruins of these places, or
Yeah.
even Egypt
Oh,
itself.
yeah.
I've been to Chichen Itza. It's freaking insane. That's where they did the game with the hoops on the side of the walls
With
where
heads.
yeah, where the winner like got sacrificed. It's crazy. They
Yeah,
have
the
the
death game.
like literally the hieroglyphs on the walls are of the game, and then the dude getting like sacrificed
Decapitated.
at the end, and then like holding the bloody head up, and then like sacrificing it to the gods. It's the most insane. I wish I still if I
That is
could find the
crazy.
pictures of that stuff, I would show it. But it's like YouTube
People
might
were
make me
nuts.
it's graphic.
Yeah.
People
and that's
were.
culture. That's the craziest
Yeah.
part too, is if we go
That
and
was the
and
highest
invest
honor.
well, and if we investigate in other places too, like I think like me and Riley have like a good understanding now where it's like if we go and investigate, say like in a foreign country, or it's like let's look the culture up too, and let's really integrate ourselves into that culture and that lifestyle for a little while, so that way we can really
Yeah.
relate to how it was for them. Because if we go into a let's say like a historic house and we're just like, hey, is this lady here? Like, no, dude, that's not how you talk to a lady proper. You walk in there and you go,
No.
hello, ma'am. Like, it's nice to meet you. Like, I would like to
Yeah.
formally introduce myself to you. And it's like, oh,
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna talk to that person that actually is like going with the time frame, going with the style and the culture that fits that time frame too. And it's like, yeah, that that really hits home where it's like if you go to Chichen Itza and you're like, like, and you're like paying homage and you're like, praise like the sun gods basically with them. I bet you're gonna get residual energies and like things that relate
See, a
to
place
that.
like that's kind of intimidating because you
It
don't know
definitely is.
how they would treat
No,
a white
I feel like
person,
that probably is
to
a
be
big no-no.
honest. Like they'd probably be
Oh, yeah.
scared considering of like how the white man was considered
Mhm.
back then. Like they'd actually probably be pretty damn
Well,
terrified
then
of us.
let's flip that too. So, like, say, because I love to say this, like, what if we were to go to Germany and we were to go to the concentration camps? Well,
Mhm.
Americans coming into the concentration camps, we were liberators. Like, people were extremely, like, deprived of their literal, like, lives and means to live a fucking life. And it's insane that
Yeah.
that persecution happened. But, like, if I can do my diligence as an investigator and go to these places and then help in any way, and maybe just like my presence being there trying to speak with them would be like a liberating factor. Like I don't know, it's those things where it's like some people might think that's so taboo, but it's like I think coming from that respectful place, that's the key.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. And there, if somebody came, like I said before, if somebody was to come into my house acting all crazy, I probably wouldn't talk to them. But if they came in, you know, respecting me, my family, whoever I'm there with in my realm, yeah, I'm sure I'll talk to
I'd
you.
be a
You know what I
lot
mean?
more receptive to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
We seem to get better activity when we are like that. Like as
Like
soon
I don't
as
like
we
provoking, not anymore.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
we've early on we did some provoking, but we don't
Same.
do that anymore.
It was tame too when we did it, and I still didn't like it.
And
I only did it the couple times I did it, it was because I was with my friends and they were all skeptics, and I'm like, yeah, dude, this place is so haunted, and it just nothing was happening. So I would provoke. I would be like, listen, y'all are cowards. Like,
Mm.
And when I did that, stuff did happen, but it was angrily. And then I would realize I just made them mad and they didn't like me anymore. So, and I didn't want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you definitely don't.
I almost feel like I got affected one time. I know that's exactly where you're going with it.
Oh, it's not actually.
Oh, it's not. Yeah.
No, I was actually, because we usually asked this already, but we didn't really get a chance yet. Where is your like dream location?
Oh yeah, we
My
breezed right over
dream
that.
location. Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
guys did ask me that. I just didn't answer. My bad.
No
Gosh, like no,
I
like
don't know if
you
did.
said like no limit, like you said like no limitations
limits. Yeah,
or
no holds
anything.
bars.
No, yeah,
Everything's free
yeah.
game.
Oh my.
We've heard some crazy ones. Like we have like I'd say there's if you could do top 3 is even good too.
I would want to do top 3. Okay, top 3 makes it a little easier. I would want to do Pearl Harbor.
Oh hell yeah,
Oh,
that would be
that's a good
really
one.
fun.
Probably concentration camps.
Yep.
And then probably if there was any way to do like the Titanic, I would want to do that.
Oh man, do
Like
like an
talk to the
underwater
spirits who
investigation. That'd
died
be
on
so
the Titanic.
cool.
Because it happened 100 and something years ago, and we know what happened, but there's so many people that have their own personal stories
Yeah,
from
like
how they
just to be
died
able
there,
to
you know?
hear the first-hand account of it's like I was running through like this deck and then the water came in. You know, and it's like
Mhm.
it might be broken up, but like if you get bits and pieces of that story, it's like holy shit.
And there's people who, this is like a real thing. People will sail on cruise ships. They'll sail right over
Mm,
the spot where it sank. And if you sail it, the legend is if you sail over at night, you can hear the screams of the people on the
that's
ship.
insane.
So who
That's
knows?
so
I'm like,
insane.
I'm gonna get on a cruise just to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
cruises are
wonder-
dope.
See, one of my theories too is like if you do something on the night that it happened at the like, or not necessarily the night, but the same time,
If
same
you time
day,
if you time it up to
like
where it's like a
you're
century after
you're
or
gonna
whatever.
catch what we were talking about early, that slip in time. You're gonna catch like
I feel like that's when
Yeah.
it's most likely to happen.
like you've been to Gettysburg. Have you been during like the anniversary of the Civil War at all? Or just
No, but I
like
went right
all
after.
4 days.
right
Yeah.
after?
Yeah, right after. I've been there twice, which is it's surprising because I lived like 30, 45 minutes away from it. So,
Yeah.
but I've heard the battle happening. I went to Sachs Bridge, and me and my friend heard the cannons, and we were like,
We were literally just talking about
Yeah.
Stacksbridge last night
Explorers
on
of the
live.
Unknown. We're talking about Sachs Bridge.
Sachs Bridge. You guys are So the fort, like you guys are talking about the woods are haunted there. Yeah, I never see anything. I've been trying to get in kind of tune with my psychic mind a little bit
Yeah, where
better.
it's just like let me just like just intake all of
Yeah,
this.
drop
That's
all
where
the
it's
equipment.
hardest. Mhm.
Yeah. And I kept saying there was a woman in the woods and she was wearing a white dress and she was lost. And multiple times over the night we heard a woman screaming. And we didn't know if it was actually like a real
If it's somebody
person.
out there, yeah.
Yeah. But I literally saw this woman and I was like, "Oh wait, there's a lady coming over here. Let me ask what she needs." I walk over, turn around for a second to tell them where I'm going. I turn back and she's
Gone.
not there anymore. And I'm like,
What? Just
Damn.
what?
I like that was like one of those freeze things where you're like,
How do I
okay.
like how do I
Do
react?
I? Yeah. What am I supposed to do right here? Let me show you guys. I just airdropped the videos of the one shadow figure and then
Let's go.
the UFO. So do I just press present?
Yep.
Yep.
And then if there's a tab that says share audio, if you follow that and there's like a little button you can check, it'll share audio with it too. So it'll like you can do like tabs, windows, or full screens. We usually do full screens.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Wait. Google Chrome would like to record this. Do I just say yeah?
Yeah, I
I'm
would.
assuming I say okay.
Otherwise, it might be like, no, you can't show anything.
Hold on.
You are fine. When we started this, I was like, oh, you can like move people around and like change audio and stuff. Like, what the fuck is happening? Ah!
Oh no, we lost him.
He'll come back. Don't worry.
He'll be right back.
That's all bad. We should teach better. No, let's give a second though. Shout out everybody in chat. You guys are real MVPs.
Shout out
MVP.
everybody, Alex, Bad Cat, Dweebs.
Also, we can probably
Black
answer
Smoke
that
if you're still
question now,
there.
Bad Cat. That method though, I bet you it would help a ton to lucid dream, like, or like put you into that like trance-like state where it's
I want
closer
the,
to it.
I know what goggles you're talking about now.
I do too.
I didn't know that was what they're called though.
I didn't
thought-
either. I
thought
didn't know
they
it was the
were, like,
Gansfield.
red, like, yeah, I didn't know the name of them. I just seen them.
I love that though. Cause like, dude, lucid dreaming itself is just an interesting topic. Cause it's like, is that an out of body experience itself? Or is that just like a reaction in your brain where it's like, now I have like full control? Like you're unlocking that aspect of your brain that you don't get to. His internet dropped out. Don't worry, he'll be back. I'm gonna do it the Delco, the original Mansfield. Ooh, I've never heard of the Delco.
That yeah, okay, maybe that's what I thought it was called. Because I know what Delco is. It's
See,
like
I've never heard of either, honestly. Like I've heard a little bit of flashing light method stuff, but like barely.
I think Black Smoke has those goggles. If he's still in the chat, I think he does. I think I've seen him in his videos before.
Yeah. Dude, just imagine though. So if all of our theories line up tonight, which they're every line is
Man,
hitting pretty fucking close.
We've been hitting in the chat.
Like, holy God. But now it's
Theories crazy tonight.
like if this energy theory is correct, which I actually do think it is, this theory of lucid dreaming and like trauma response to seeing these things happening, and if our energy consciousness does transfer the way that I think it does, it's like this is so I don't want to say groundbreaking because all of this is already here, but like holy Jesus, like that's the type of information that it's like I don't think everybody always draws the parallels where it's like this is why doing this is the best. It is the fucking best.
He's gonna be back on in a second.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. We end it. Yeah, Alex. I see you. What an episode. It is an episode of goodness. Yeah, I can't believe homie's so young and he's so bright. Like that it makes me very happy for the future of investigation and like the future of like what the paranormal community is looking like. Cause it's like no matter which way we've turned so far, like everybody has nailed every aspect of what it means to like go out here and do this. And it's fucking awesome.
Brett, see the youth out there doing the thing.
Makes me wish we would have started a little earlier. But hey, what better time to start than now? You know, like there's no better time than now.
Right.
That's why I implore everybody try it once. At least once. Or at least a couple of times. You know, get your toes wet. You know, maybe if you don't have a lot of equipment,
You can just
go.
use the recorder on your phone and see if you can
That's
catch EVPs.
the craziest part is phones are literally like walking like ghost devices, if you ask me, because you can download free apps that are voice recorders that will show you wavelengths. So if you just stay quiet, set it down, and you see the wave spike, and you're like, nobody said anything. Let's go listen to that back. Probably have something there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that weird. Like a lot of, say this, 90% of the videos that we record are off of our phones. And some of the best evidence that I have ever seen has been captured on phones. And if you just add a little microphone to it, bada bing, bada boom.
I'm back.
He's back.
He's back.
I'm back. I have to be on my phone though because my computer's just dead.
It
so
walked
it's fine.
out.
Yeah, it just decided that it was done, so it's fine. What were we talking about? Oh, I was trying to get my my thing loaded up.
Yeah, the video zip. I don't know if you can do it on
Yeah.
the phone, to be honest. I think I've tried it.
Okay, should I send it to you guys?
Yeah, send it on whatever messenger thread that we got with you. And then
All right.
Riley can just send it to the like we can just pull it up over here and then play it.
Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah.
I'm about to use mine.
Don't worry. If you look at the screen, guys, he's black, but it's only because he has to send the videos. We're good here. We're good.
Sorry,
We're
sorry,
back.
sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
I'm here, everyone. I'm here. I promise. I'm a ghost, actually. I'm not real.
Oh shit! This has happened twice now. Joe died last night. Now you died.
I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm in a.
It's always been a very like a big thing of mine to want to talk to somebody who passed on recently, and boy, oh boy, we got a fresh one.
Oh my god. I'm in.
so morbid.
I'm in the fifth realm right now. All right, let's find this. I'm getting close. I can
I don't know
tell.
what the password is.
Come on. You know when like you're scrolling and you're trying to find a video and you can tell that you're close because of all the other videos around it.
Hmm. Dude,
Oh,
that's
wait,
we don't. How do I want to say this? Organize, like at all.
I don't either. So I just sent the shadow figure. I don't know if it's sent yet, but it's sending.
They'll
And
get through that
then
either.
It's all good. I'm trying to log into Instagram on the computer.
get this UFO loaded up. This UFO is insane. I can't even. There's nothing. It is a UFO. Like it's not. It just like wait till you see it.
Let me.
Dude,
Like
UFOs
is.
are seriously so just mind-numbingly like, what is it? You know, like is this government technology that we've retrofitted for what we can apply now, or is this
Mhm,
legitimately organic crafts that we're seeing just in nature?
right. Okay, so I sent the. I think they both sent.
All right, I'm
I
trying to get
believe
into
they did.
Instagram. I don't ever log in on my computer.
Let
So
me
if you
send
pull this on
you.
your phone, you can send it to
I'll send it to the drive.
yeah, send it to Drive really quick and it shouldn't take very long.
We'll have them here.
When did this UFO experience happen? I forgot if you said like what year or whatnot. Like was this
This was
recent?
this was last July.
Yeah, so it was super recent. So this is like in the time frame of like when all of this stuff is really being paid attention to.
Yeah. Yep. It was. I just remember. I don't even know. It just caught my eye out of the sky. Like I was in a room and I was looking at like something told me to look out the window and boom, there it
That's when it
is.
makes it the most like real, you know, where it's like I wasn't looking for this at all. It
Yeah,
just happened to be there.
exactly. And
Yes.
that's the most that's kind of evidence I love the most. Let me try to find a screenshot of the shadow figure. It's kind of hard to like find if you're not looking for it. I mean, if
Mhm.
We
you're,
almost
you know what
got
I
it.
mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
I don't know which video this is. So give me.
It's one of them.
Okay, it's the shadow figure.
So if you look on the doorway to the left, if you slow the video down,
Mm.
you can see a head peeking out, and then all the other shadows kind of go away when the light hits it, but that one stays and then it moves.
Dude, isn't
It's
that this the craziest thing though?
yeah.
Where it's like it moves. Like how do you
Oh yeah.
explain shadows moving on their own?
And
You
people
know?
are yeah. People are like it's your shadow, and I'm like,
How the
okay,
fuck did I do that?
I'm like, it's not my shadow because I didn't move my head around a corner, and it's literally you can tell it's peeking out on a door in a doorway.
Hmm.
Like, I don't even know. There's so many people who try to debunk, and I'm just like, all right, listen, I try to debunk this too. I always try to debunk my evidence before I put it out there for the world to see. But
Right? Yeah.
some of these things you just can't. And those I mean it's so fun
Dude,
when that happens.
I literally see exactly what you're saying. That there
Yeah.
is no fucking way.
Right there, right?
Yeah, there's no fucking way that right in the middle of that door that something isn't standing there because it's blocking out the door frame
It's gone.
and it's gone. Yeah, exactly. When you move those frames, it's not there, it's there. You aren't moving at lightning speed and you're not like
Oh,
2 steps in front of where that is now.
yeah. Insane. I remember I looked over that and that was the first shadow figure I ever caught. And yep, this was right after the little girl laugh. And I think I sent the little girl laugh video to you
Oh, look
too,
at
so you
that.
can see kind of what
Dude,
led
it
up.
like bows out more too. Like you can literally see it like dips. Like right before the light switches like where it is. And like how you're right.
Look at the light moved. The shadow never moves as the
Yeah.
light. The
No.
shadow of the light.
Yeah.
It
That's
stays there. Look, it even moves. Watch.
that's
See that?
incredible.
And then right when it sees that the camera's on it, it's like, oh, there they are.
Dude, that's
Yeah, if people want to,
insane.
if I will go to war right now and die on this hill. If people want to tell me that the shadow is playing tricks here and there and whatever, the wave of darkness that you see is from the light being pulled up to
This
the
is
left,
incredible, dude.
and then
Yeah.
your light that's facing in front of you on the ground. There's
Yep.
no fucking way unless somebody literally is like blacking out that part of the doorway and peeking out that is even physically possible.
Yep.
Oh shit.
That was the first big thing that I caught, and I was so
Dude,
proud of it.
bravo.
I was
I'm
like,
proud of you. Like holy shit.
thank you.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
so good. And that was the first shadow figure ever caught. That's some of the most
Yeah.
definitive shadow figure I've ever seen. And we even
And
got
s
more to look at.
Yeah, so that's the UFO. McKenna, hurry up! Come on, come on.
Dude, stop it!
No, what?
Gone.
Hold on.
1 second. One
Stop
second.
it. Dude, stop.
McKenna, hurry up! Come on, come on. Gone.
Dude, stop.
Dude, they're spinning.
Spinning.
That's not-
Flies up.
You're outside too right here, aren't you?
Yeah.
How the fuck is that light matrix?
What?
Yeah. And if you
Are
look
you
at it
seeing
slowly,
this?
if you look at it slowly, it actually goes behind the cloud, and you can see it pop up, kind of like
Yeah,
the
dude,
top
it
of-
zips. You can see it start to go up and then it's out. Like when you slow it down really close, you can see it shifts up before it's gone.
Yeah.
Like gone.
Look, there's
I-
two.
that-
Shit.
I will
There's
never.
none.
I mean, that was. I think I might.
Man,
That was
Stop
yeah. That
it.
was. That was big. That was big. That was
you
big.
got me fucking perched right now. Like I'm a bird. Like
That
that's
was big.
incredible.
And
That might
I
be
should-
some of the most definitive UFO evidence I've ever seen.
Oh
and,
yeah,
like,
I sent it. I sent
would
it into
sit here and
paranormal
debunk
caught on
it.
camera.
Yeah, I would
sent it
sit here
into
and
the
debunk
paranormal
as hard
call
as I
on
could, but I can't. There's no debating that that's fuck off material. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, I sent it into paranormal caught on camera, and they didn't ever answer me. I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? You don't want this on your TV show.
Honest to God,
Fine.
bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
we have permission to send that around, and like that's your credit for sure. But like, it's got to get everywhere. Like, I'll send that shit to
Yeah.
Chills, like every big channel I can get you on. Because, dude, what the
Yes.
fuck?
That is yeah.
Isn't it weird? Holy
Dude.
fuck, dude! What the fuck?
Yeah, that was.
I wasn't
I mean,
expecting that.
I
Like,
can
not
watch it
even
Oh.
100
close.
times and still not understand that.
oh, you should have fucking seen my face. My sister said I was pale
Oh my
afterwards.
God.
Like I just stood there
How
and was
do
in
you
shock
not?
of what I just saw.
I'm in
Oh
shock.
god.
You might have just
And
shown me
that-
some of the craziest shit
My
I've ever
mind
seen.
literally just shattered.
I think I melted.
Oh, and it was it's silent too. It goes away, not a single noise. And I showed my grandmother, my other grandmother, the one that didn't work at the hospital, and she was like, "Yep, that's the government. That's the government." And I'm like, okay, it's the government.
She's got my heart, though. I'll tell you that. That's the government. Holy
was very-
God.
She was like, "Yep, that's the government." And yeah, I think I sent you guys
Dog.
the video of the little girl too. You can hear a little girl laugh. This was what
You
led
sent
us
me that.
up to the shadow figure.
You sent me another one.
And my
Dude.
friend is the one who's in the footage, and he goes, "You hear it?" And he goes, he like looks at me and points up, and I'm like, "Yeah, I heard that. Yep."
All right, we got it in a second.
That's so. Some of the shit you've caught is literally irrefutable. Like, there's no denying that.
I try to convince myself. Like, I'll literally get to the point where I'm like, I actually convinced myself that it didn't happen to me. But then I look on my phone, and I'm like, well, that's right there. So it did
Pretty
happen.
fucking accurate.
Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah, that UFO is probably the best piece of
I'm
evidence that
still
I've ever gathered.
drooling right now
Every-
over it.
everything.
Like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Actually, that reminded me. I have to post that. I totally forgot about that video until we started talking about UFOs. I have to post that to my channel.
It's because it's like a paranormal investigate. I saw a
Yeah.
UFO. Holy shit, I saw a UFO.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, I actually did see that, and I have it on my phone. Like,
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
the ones that we've personally seen, like we haven't like captured them, but like the experiences are like, huh? Am I losing my
am I tripping?
really loose grip on reality already?
Mhm.
Like, dude, is dementia setting in? Like, what's happening to me?
Right. And I showed my dad that, and he about hit the floor because he said he had pretty much the exact same experience when he was about 12 years old. He
Mhm.
saw 3 orange lights in the sky, and they were just spinning. And
Oh
then
my
they didn't
God.
shoot up like it did in mine when I saw it, but he said that they just kind of disappeared. And him and his brothers both watched it happen. All watched it happen.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So I seen something kind of crazy once. I was
Mhm.
camping up north, and I was looking up in the sky. And I really seen what I thought was like two alien spacecrafts having a war against each other. They were like one like here, one here, and then there was like things going back and forth, and then more showed up, and then like all this crazy lights were
Yeah, and
going
they're
on.
just,
It's
like,
like
amoeba,
it sounds
right?
unbelievable, but like it really happened, and I don't even know how to explain it.
I believe
accurately,
you.
honestly,
I believe you.
It was just so
Dude.
See,
crazy.
I was in a cemetery on an investigation when the last
Yeah.
time I saw it, and I was just laying
Just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was laying in the cemetery, just like on the ground because I just got done with a hockey tournament, and we were investigating that night with Tommy Tombstone, and I was just looking up in the sky, just watching. All of a sudden, I just see this very bright, like iridescent, whitish blue hued light just kind of go straight down, hard left, hard right, and then it like did like diagonals, and it started like looping a little bit, and then it just went woo, and I was like, okay, meteors, linear. Planes do things, but not that.
Yeah, I mean
Check
that's
this
yeah.
out. I hope this.
Okay, yeah. So this is. You
Let
gotta be
us
quiet.
know if it's playing audio on your end.
Okay. Okay, I kind of heard it. Yeah, there's a floor above us. So if you listen closely, you can hear.
Oh, I had the
Oh,
volume
you have it
down.
fucking
Sorry.
way down.
Sorry.
We'll do that again.
Yeah, there's a floor above us.
Dude, it's almost like a
If you guys after this
It's
watch
so
this on your
crazy.
phone and you can
Mhm.
hear it, like it's distinct, like a laugh. It's
like
yeah.
it's faint on the computer, and I'm sure headphone users are probably like, this sounds way better. And it's like
Mhm.
I still do hear it through the speakers because like we don't try to like kill everybody with reverberations here. But
Mhm.
like you definitely hear like a very faint feminine sound. It's not just like
Mhm.
somebody shuffled.
Yeah, that was my first experience with a little girl, and ever since then, it's just been like I just think she has a crush on me, if I'm being honest.
I mean, don't we
But
all?
but yeah, she followed me everywhere I go at that place. Yeah, yep.
Dude.
That's the only attachment that I have.
That's a good attachment then right there. Cause like I don't know
Yeah.
if we have like a malevolent attachment, if we have like a Native American like attachment when we go to like
Who
Native
knows? It
American
might be.
lands.
It might be bad. I mean, I just broke my ankle. I'm about to go on vacation. So
And like
That's
we've had
great.
very similar dreams that we would talk to each other weeks apart, where it's like, dude, did you just have a dream of like this dog man like entity that was like running through the same fucking cemetery that I was dreaming of too? What? It's like I don't
Right.
know. Like I don't want to just jump to like it's real, but like it's pretty
I don't
weird that
know.
it
I
just
got some
happens the way
weird
it
things
is.
lining up in my life right now. Where I'm supposed to go next on Tuesday
Yeah, he's
is
supposed to be
getting
on vacation.
getting hit by a Category 4 hurricane right now.
Jeez Louise.
I
Yeah,
just
I don't
broke my
believe in
ankle last
coincidences.
Monday.
Yeah, first week
Maybe,
of hockey, down and out.
maybe somebody's
Or-
telling you not to go.
I'm
We're still
going.
I'm going. I would go. I would go for sure. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences. I honestly think that everything happens for a reason. Literally every single thing that you do, like every single decision that you make, has an effect on the course of the rest of
The
your life.
butterfly effect
Honestly,
is real.
yeah. You know,
It is.
it's
One
just
thing leads to another. It just does.
yeah. It's bad cat paranormal. I believe in attachments, dudes. Yeah. So
They come and
I've
go.
only yeah. Kaylee had an I don't know if she still does. She has an attachment, but he kind of when we collabed the first time, he kind of stuck with me for a little bit after, and then when we collabed the second time, I was like, "You can have him back. I don't want this motherfucker anymore. Like, you can have
Yeah,
him
like
back."
please
And
no.
so,
I don't need this in my
yeah,
life.
I don't need that. I don't need all that right now. And I haven't had anything weird happen since then, but I don't know. I think he just kind of passed him on me for a second. He wanted to change the scenery, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah,
or
that was at
it
Forest
probably
Haven.
could even be like, say some people are more susceptible than others, right? And if there is a negative entity that is like following people around, he like checks you out for a minute. He's like, do I see an opportunity? Like, nah. All right, I'm moving on.
Yeah, maybe that's
Yeah.
how some spirits like travel to one place to another. Like they gotta find somebody to.
They got to
attach
find
to.
their home.
Yeah. Now.
Bad Cat Paranormal. I've had one called The Monster, and now I have one that I seem to share with my crew, and it's weird. Subject need to be talked about more.
So maybe
You should have read
yes.
that in a British accent.
I don't have. I don't know if I have a good British accent.
It's
Might-
pretty good, isn't it? I love you, Bad Cat.
So maybe bad cat. Maybe so does it only come around when you're with your group? Because if that's the case, then maybe
That's
it can
a
only
interesting
come around
question.
when your energies are matched. You know what I mean? Because I've had things like that
Oh,
happen
That's
before.
that's a very, very valid point. Because that seems to be when the most activity happens is either like, especially when me and Riley are talking about it, especially once when we're with
When we open
Noel,
the door of communication.
and then shit will happen, or if if we're on investigations, just like that. Because it's pretty weird.
Isn't it?
Isn't it? pretty
She
weird.
100%. I heard her say it once,
She
and
has
I
the
was like,
sickest accent I've
I'm
ever heard.
100% taking that only because I love you and I love that.
It comes out when I'm investigating. I won't allow it in my home anymore. Okay, so maybe it can only come to you when you're openly
How do
talking
you
to.
believe? Like, do you believe in the cleansing rituals, like say saging, or like trying to like say you can't follow me home? Do you think that stuff does work?
I think that if you establish a line of respect with them, so listen. So I don't believe that like saging or anything like that actually like stops anything from coming with you.
I don't.
You
Yeah,
can
I
say,
like to think that they just say
I
fuck
think
that.
it does the opposite.
yeah. I think like if you can say you can't follow me, you can say whatever you want. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. You know, um, like for instance, one time I was at Force Haven and I was talking to this one spirit, and he kept like talking about how he wanted to come back with me, and I was like, no, 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 this is your room. I have to go back to mine. I'll come back and visit you. Though we can,
Yeah.
we can talk whenever I come back. And I came back to my house, and he kind of, I kind of just felt his vibe was still with me. And I told him, I just openly said, like, listen, man, like, I respect you, you respect me. I asked you not to follow me, so please go back. I'll talk to you again. You know what I mean? And so, like, if you establish, I think that if you establish, like, they're people, if you establish respect between you, the two of you, they'll probably respect you. If you ask them not to come with you, they most likely won't. But if you get like an asshole, that's why everybody's like attachments are assholes. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, maybe because maybe you weren't respectful to them, and now they don't like you, and now they just
Now
want
they're
to
like, I have a
terrorize you.
reason to fuck with you.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're even. Like we have to make this even. So that's what I think. They're people.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe
they
that's
just
why it doesn't like continue too. Like early on in Riley's childhood, he had what seemed to be a very malevolent spirit, like viciously attacking him and his family. It's been dormant for a long time. Knock on wood, that stays that way. But like, who's to say they was just like, all right, I've had enough. Like, I'm on.
yeah. Like I'm not getting
Yeah, it
anywhere
went
with
away
this.
once we moved, pretty much. But like, I I've avoided that house my entire life since then.
I mean, I would too. Like, especially if it had a negative connotation on your upbringing.
I bring that back. I did go there in my 20s because it was next to a blueberry farm, and I went there to go get some blueberries.
Hey, that's different though. You didn't go to the house.
And the cops, after I picked the blueberries and came to my house, the cops showed up.
They're like, you were not allowed to do that.
Oh my god.
So I don't know. Like, if you want to say like what we were saying earlier, the energy is like telling me things like,
Dude, it's like read the room. Like if the shoe fits,
Yeah.
man, I feel like you gotta wear that one.
Yeah. There's a cemetery behind the asylum right by my house, and I never found it. I found it accidentally. I was walking through the woods to find a shortcut to leave instead of having to walk through the entire complex.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm walking. I'm just in this. I just pop out in this field, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And I trip over something. I look down, and it's a stone, but it's perfectly. It's like a little tiny brick. And I turn on my flashlight, and it's got a number on it. It's a cemetery, and I look over, and it's this field of just cemetery. It's just like this field of
Damn.
graves that are just numbered. These people were dying, and they didn't have names, so they just put, all right, you're number 1, you're number 2, you're number 3, and they went all the way up to like 1500.
Holy
And
shit.
oh my
and
goodness.
that place pops off during investigations. I
Mhm.
mean, because they don't have anywhere to go. That's their home. They don't have a name. They don't have anywhere to go. Like
Yeah, like
they're
remember me.
yeah. That I don't know what made me think of that, but it just that kind of popped into my head. It's very sad thinking about our past because humans we didn't know what we didn't know what we were doing was bad. We didn't think that people felt. We didn't think that mentally insane people felt pain, so we didn't waste our time on
No,
buying
yeah,
any.
No,
the way
yeah.
people thought back then is
So
so
different.
different. So,
Yeah.
geez,
Dude.
you owe me a Coke.
Yep.
And it's sad, but it's like you have to kind of think about it. Like we weren't, for the most part, we weren't trying to hurt these people. You had two nurses that
No.
were taking care of 500 patients. Of course, they're gonna have to tie some of them down because they're either gonna hurt themselves or other people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that was just the
Like,
reality of it.
yeah, like like I saw a chart. It was a comparison chart of a normal mental asylum versus Springfield, which is the one that I live by. And the normal was like you had 40 patients per nurse. Springfield
Mhm.
was overcrowded so badly. I mean, it is probably one of the worst overcrowded hospitals because it was one of the best, and so everybody
Yeah.
wanted to go there. There would be on the comparison, it says each nurse had at least 3,000 patients.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how they did it.
I don't either. I don't
That's
think,
insane.
and they didn't. They didn't do it. It's humanly impossible.
Yeah, no, that's yeah,
Like,
you're right. It's physically impossible to care for that many people as one person. There's not enough
right.
time in a day.
Impossible.
And
Impossible.
that's why they started volunteer services there because they needed people that were willing to come in and kind of
And it was probably people that like were all walks of life that maybe didn't have any background type of checks and maybe were not great people and really mistreated some people.
yeah.
Of that
Yeah,
many.
granted, there were people that were mean. Like, there's a story from Forest Haven of this guy who, like, would punch the kids' teeth out and burn cigarettes on their legs. Like, terrible, terrible things, but they just did
Humans
that.
are monsters.
Yep, fear the living, not the dead.
Dude, 100%. True crime is just as scary as anything paranormal or like spooky.
So
That's why I'm
Maybe
like,
scarier.
yeah, I talked to my mom.
God.
I talked to my mom. I'm like, Mom, you want to watch a scary movie with me? She's like, no. But then, like, 5 minutes later, I'll catch her watching a true crime documentary. I'm like, Mom, that's scarier
You're like,
than the
wait.
made up movie. I'm like, this is so much scarier. I can't do murder stuff. Like, I can't do it. Like, I'll investigate a place where somebody was murdered, but like, if you tell me, like, do you remember? I think it was 2 years ago now. No. It was way more. It was like 5 years ago. You remember the Watts murders? Like that dude
Yeah, Chris
that like
Watts and
killed
his
his
whole
family.
family.
Yes, that freaked me out. That happened on my birthday. That
Oh,
freaked me
God.
out. Yeah. Which kind of brings me to another point. My old house was it was haunted. It wasn't very paranormally active, but it was haunted, if that makes sense. Like, we could
Yeah.
tell because the owners there were they both died there.
Mhm.
When I was little, my friend was trying to spend the night, and he woke up in the middle. We were like he was in like second grade. I was in like fourth. He woke up, said there was a man standing in the corner. Had to leave the house. Would not spend the night there again. And but then all of a sudden, like all this like crazy stuff started happening. Like the roof needed to be replaced. The well went dry. We had septic issues. Our house would always flood. Like it was always leaking. It was always water issues. And so we think that it was the owners trying to just get us out. But we found out later it was just kind of like, okay, well maybe it was them, or maybe the house was just old and needed fixing
Yeah,
up.
maybe.
You know? Well, we found out later. We found out last year actually. We were like, let's do some historic research. We
Yeah.
found out that the woman who died in the house was born on August 12th, whatever year she was born in. I was born on August 13th. So she was born on
Mhm.
August 12th. And then she died on July 22nd, 2010, which is the exact day that my sister was born.
Oh, wow, that's wild.
And so we were like, what are the chances? Maybe that's like a link. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely could be.
So that's like my haunted house story. It was definitely haunted. I had weird things happen. My mom was sitting folding clothes one time. She said she heard my sister call her name, but my sister wasn't home. Like maybe that was residual energy, you know, that adds to it. Maybe it was just
That's
my sister.
But still, like, to have all that, like, how it lined up the way it did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how like, I guess you could say, like, a series of unfortunate events, it could just be a series of unfortunate events. But at the same time, like, if they both died in the home and they loved that place and they really didn't want it to go change hands afterwards and it did,
Mhm.
and then the fact that it's like you guys' birthdays are all very correlated. And like, I don't know if you believe in like, the zodiacs or like any of the moon sign, like any of that stuff, but it's like
Mhm.
some of it actually is kind of
It's
weird how it plays into
It
it.
is. It is. And I'm not like a firm believer in that, but I will say it's very odd how it does line up. It's like Wait a second. Another thing to kind of add like to the moon thing, like the moon, everything like that is I'll go to asylums at nighttime on a full moon, and I don't know why, but it's just more active on a full moon.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
way more active on a full moon.
Everything's more
Dude, I
active
almost
on a
wonder
full
too if
moon.
it's like because like gravitational things, like if you look at tides, they change when the moon is closer and farther. Well,
Mhm.
who's to say that the same energy, like residual energy that's being released just in organic states of nature with like whatever
The moon supercharges everything. dude.
exactly, like what
Yeah.
who's to say that it's not supercharging the activity too?
Right, and they also say that, like, the full moons will make the crazies go even more crazy. So, like, in
It does
asylums, it's
very, very
it's
accurate.
like it's like, "Well, I'm in an asylum right now, and it's way more active than usual." Maybe they're just going crazier because it's a full moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
mean, like
just
everybody, I don't care who you are, has heard that term at least once or twice in their life.
yeah,
Where it's like full moons
or
bring out the
something,
crazies.
something of the like.
yeah. So on the full moon, which also stems the legend. Legends have a beginning. Somebody saw something, felt something, something happened to them to tell their story, and it became a legend. You know? That's why I'm like, mermaids
How
could
do you
be
feel about
real.
like the witching hour? Do you think that energy can just happen whenever, wherever? It like the witching hour is just kind of bullshit because it's just late time in the night.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the witching hour, I mean, obviously you get every time like you're investigating, you're like, oh, it's 3 a.m., you know.
You're like, what's
But
gonna happen?
yeah, but like honestly, I don't really think it has like I don't
I
really think it
don't think there's a
changes.
timetable.
No, I don't either.
I
Because
think
if we're
I
talking
think
about
dusk. I
if
think
we're talking
dusk
about
is
it,
the
yeah,
prime
yeah.
time for spirits.
Well, we were talking earlier, we
Being
were saying how time is a made up concept. Time is 100% made up by humans, and that's why spiritual world is timeless. Um, if that's true, then 3 a.m. would have no significance to them at all. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Yeah, everybody's usually
if
asleep by then.
right, and so yeah, I honestly just I don't know. I don't think I think people believe that 3 a.m.'s like superstitious because the Holy Trinity, everything comes in threes. They always
Yeah.
say three is a spiritual number, but honestly speaking, I don't really think it has any sort of
Yeah. I think
influence.
realistically, like if we're going off of like prevailing theories, like go to the places that activity would have been most prevalent where it's like if you go to a house and it's like a hot state, they're probably not inside during the day, they're probably inside at night. Try to
Yeah,
investigate when people probably come inside. Now if you have like a place where it's cold and nobody wants to be outside and there's always people inside of these locations, yeah, I probably wouldn't investigate outside. I'd probably stay inside and see if I can't find stuff happening in there. Like I feel like timing is everything too. Like if people are awake during the day and inside of these locations, you probably have way better luck during the day.
exactly, exactly. It's all I 100% agree. Yeah, you just have to think human. Like they're not just like these entities. They're actually people. Like if think how where would like you just said, where would you be during this time of day? That's probably where they are. They're human
Mhm.
too. They're not animals. They're not pets like people act like they are. This entire time I've been seeing like flashes all around me. I don't know. It's weird.
You that's not like your like anything on your desk or anything? Because I was seeing like tracers like on the wall behind you like earlier, and I was just like, he must just be moving something around. No, it's not doing it. Weird
I
as
did take a
fuck.
sips a bunch, but
It didn't do it though. Like it
I
would.
thought I seen some
Yeah,
things a
I
few times too, but I just
the
was like,
hair,
the
might be
entire time it's like flat, like little sparks and like lights. I'm like, what the
dude. That's weird. That's super
I don't
weird. And
know.
like energy transfer could definitely happen through internet too, because this is literally just a powered connection. Like if
just a couple weeks ago, we were talking to POV Paranormal, and I've never had anything paranormal happen at my house, but I have lights here in this hallway, and we keep them on so that they'll light up the green screen so that it doesn't look all pixelated behind us. And I went up to go get something from the living room, and the light was off. And I asked him, I was like, "Did you turn that light
I
off?"
was
And
like
he's like,
laying on the floor eating Subway. No,
No, I did not turn off the light. I'm
definitely
too
not me,
busy
bud.
eating
and
right now.
then we talked to POV Paranormal, and one of them,
They were in the Poachtown Elementary,
yep,
like
said
where
that
it's haunted.
the most common thing he has happen for him is lights turning off and on.
Mhm. And it
So
just
we
so
were like,
happened.
Yeah.
and we had just got off the phone with him too. So like all this things just kind of I don't know if it was paranormal or not, but like it's just weird.
That is weird. That is definitely
That
weird.
it's like all these correlating things.
I've had one thing happen that was like poltergeist, and that was like I was at this mansion, this abandoned mansion in Baltimore called Uplands, and we're in there, and this guy that I was with was provoking. And I'm like, dude, stop. You know, these people were really protected. The owners of the mansions were some of the original founders of the B&O Railroad. So I'm like,
Mhm.
they're rich, they're snobby. Like, don't mess with them. They're not going to be nice to you. And so he was like, we're like standing by this door to this basement, and you know, I'm like, don't do this, don't do that. And
Don't.
and we decided to mess with him because he had gone there. He had gone there prior, and the door had shut on him. Like
Oh,
literally,
man.
like full. And the thing is this door grinds up against the bottom of the floor. Like you
Yeah, so
have
it takes a good effort.
to shut it, and it shut on him. And the people that it was the Ghost or Dope crew. They were there. It was just them two, and they were videoing the entire time. And the spirits there after the door shut, they broke their phone. Like the spirits broke their phone. They had to get an entirely new phone. The phone was 1 week old. They had to get a new phone.
Wow.
And they went to look at the footage, and everything on their phone had been saved except for the videos at the mansion.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Dude, it just goes to show that, like,
They're more powerful than we think they are.
yeah, and not only that, like, don't count anything out. Never count anything out.
Mm-mm. And that's why I refuse to bring my equipment into that place because I'm like, I don't want you to break it. Forest Haven, they already broke my REM pod at Forest Haven. I'm still pissed about that. I haven't gone back since. I'm gonna give them a piece of my mind. But you know, like I'm like, don't break my shit. Like, I just want to talk to you. Like,
I worked hard for this.
you know, like, come on now. Let's be nice here. You know.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
just. Forest Haven's crazy. Forest Haven is crazy. Like the
Almost as
more.
crazy as this live stream has been, though.
Yeah, definitely, dude. This has
Yeah.
been an absolute blast. Like we're 2 hours and almost 2.5 hours now.
We could easily keep this
crazy.
going for another 4 hours, but I got a tiny human in my ear going, "Hey, I'm hungry." It's like, "You should eat dinner."
I have school tomorrow, so it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
we
didn't
threw
even
all
think
your
about that.
all your links and everything down in the description. If you haven't yet, make sure you go throw Gen
Have
Z
to.
Paranormal some love and subscribe. And
UFOs are real. We've
yeah,
They are
established that.
100%
Shadow
real.
are real.
if you're just joining the stream now, make sure you go back like what
40 minutes?
Yeah, 40 minutes or so, and check out the videos that we showed that this kid has captured because they're absolutely mind blowing.
They're crazy. It is
Brennan,
crazy.
you are an inspiration, though. Like, I love the
Yeah.
fact
Thank you,
that you're
man.
so young and you're out here doing this, and you're doing such a fantastic job. Keep up the good work, buddy.
Thank you, dude. That's awesome. Thank you.
And you best believe that one of these days, hopefully soon enough, we'll be able to like actually do an investigation together and just
Y'all
like
have to come to this
continue
asylum.
train.
You
Oh,
have to come to this
100%.
asylum.
100%, dude. That
It's
sounds
insane.
lit.
It's insane.
Yeah,
Craziest place I've been.
we'll work out them deets for show.
For sure, for
For
sure.
sure.
And with that being said, folks, remember to keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes.
Bump in the night. Gen Z Paranormal, guys. The bomb.
Peace.